So we're back with another reading today, and the question is, what are their intentions towards you? So today we've got the cookies, so obviously you might not be able to close your eyes and see colors. You could do shapes, and so that one's 1, and it's the Christmas tree. 2 is the circle. 3 is the heart, and 4 is the star. So if you need to close your eyes and meditate until you see one of those shapes, do it. And if one is just calling your name, definitely go with that one. But I'll be quiet now and just let you tune into the energy and decide. Okay, so hopefully you had time to pick your shape. If not, you can always rewind and then pause and spend a little more time on that. But let's get into pile 1 and let's start the readings. Okay, so pile 1, this is going to be your reading. So you picked the little Christmas tree. Let's get right into it. So I pre-pulled cards. So you have the 2 of Swords, the Hanged Man. You got the 4 of Wands, the 5 of Swords, the King of Pentacles, the 7 of Swords, Death, the 9 of Pentacles, the 7 of Cups, the 6 of Pentacles. I'm so bad at reading Roman numerals, and the Emperor card. And then I also pre-pulled from the Romance Tarot deck, and you got the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, the 4 of Cups, you got the 2 of Pentacles, you got the Death, you got the King of Swords, the 7 of Cups, and the 8 of Pentacles. So I feel like the energy I'm getting from this is, first of all, this person thinks of you a lot. You got all the kind of manifesting cards that I really look for, where this is someone that you have a mental and psychic connection with. Like, I think you guys think of each other a lot, and it's like an exchange of information. This is someone that you probably like thoughts of them come to you late at night when you're laying in bed, kind of a thing, but it's really an intense connection. It's not just kind of like the normal crush that people have, where like obviously you think of, the person you have a crush on or your significant other. This is like a really intense mental connection that you guys have going back and forth, and they think about you all the time. They're like actively trying to manifest you, and they like tap into you on the astral realm. But then at the same time, they're going through a lot of decisions and changes right now. I also think that they have this fantasy where they would be the one kind of like giving you money or in control. They dream about being like the one who can afford to take you out to like a really nice restaurant, and you'd be like, oh my god, or like, I didn't know you drove a Porsche, kind of a thing. Like, this is something that person fantasizes about, and maybe how that would change the power dynamic. Like, maybe if they had all the money, then you would come running over to them and be like doing whatever they wanted. That's like something that they fantasize about, and they dream about having that kind of a situation with you, maybe because they're afraid that you would leave, but they want that power. They want to feel powerful, and like to a certain extent, like they are the one that kind of runs the show. I also think that they think about communicating with you a lot, but then they hold themselves back from doing it. So, but they think about communicating with you, and you guys might even be in communication for many of you, because there is this aspect of like actively wanting communication, and so that might have already taken place, or it might be taking place in the future, or just as an intention. But there's also like a sneaky energy. So I feel like this person might feel sneaky. They might feel like they are hiding things from you. And sometimes that's something that we all do in a relationship. You know, we say like, someone's like, do you want to go hiking at 7 a.m.? And we're like, I love hiking. I hike every day. I would love to go at 7 a.m. We have so much in common, you know? And that's normal, and it's not necessarily a red flag. But then obviously, when I get like sneaky energy, it does make me wonder if it's that person's insecurities, that they feel like, oh, I can't show my real self. But a lot of times it can be that they are lying about something, or they're not telling the truth. So we can pull some more cards and kind of see like what are they lying about, or what would they not be being honest about. I feel like this person does fantasize a lot about, like I said, being powerful financially. And so it might be that they're trying to present this image of themselves as being like this cool, like successful guy, but that's not the case. Maybe they're not earning so much money. You know, there's a saying like a $30,000 millionaire, and that's like someone who's not earning that much money, but, you know, driving a rented car, or, you know, going out to restaurants that they really can't afford, and taking out loans and that kind of a thing. So it could be that, but it could also be, you know, something more serious, or just insecurity. So we have 2 dropped cards, crown chakra and prosperity begins. So like money is like a huge emphasis for this person, and I see that they feel like, you know, if they can get the money, then they can have you. You know, it's so bad, but I keep hearing, I don't even know if I can say it on YouTube, but I keep hearing in my mind that quote from Scarface where he says like, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women, or whatever. Something like that. Or first you get the power, then you get the money, then you get the women, or something like that. I think it's first the money, then the power, then the women. And that's what I feel like is this person's goal. Like, it's not even that they're like focused on money that much in their life, but they feel like if they get the money, then they'll have you, and that's what they really want. You're like the money is like the means to the end, you know? So what is this person being dishonest about? So I usually don't read reversals. Oh wait, I'm not gonna read that. I almost misread this as truth, which I thought was reversed, but it says triumph. So, but anyway, I wonder if that's an intentional thing Spirit kind of put in my head, because I do think they're not being honest about something. Transformation and positive movement forward. I think this is a major period of transformation for this person for sure. We've seen that like in all the pulls we got, the Death card, which is what that is. So it's like this person is really going through something, and I think it might be a positive change, but we do have like just a huge emphasis on, you know, money and finances and achievements and trying to get some things done. I just feel like this person, it might not even be accurate, but in their mind, they are very insecure about their money situation, especially in comparison to you. I think that, you know, maybe they didn't think about it that much before, but you have opened that in their mind. I feel like it's almost like the attitude they have, I know this is weird, is like they want to be like the emperor, or like whoever had harems back in the day. I don't know if it's a sheikh, but you know, that's what they want. They want you like as like their concubine or something. They want this dynamic where like they have the power kind of and the money, and you are like their consort or something. Like they want to be the powerful one in the situation. And I think they feel like if they have the money, that will happen, you know, and maybe they already do have money, but this is the energy of someone who is really, really, really focused on money as a means to an end. I think that like their intentions to you are serious. It's not like they just are like, I just want, like the Scarface quote is more about, you know, sleeping with a bunch of different women, like first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women, plural. But I feel like they just want you, kind of like they are focused on you. as a goal, and they do think about you a lot. They don't just like think like, yeah, maybe if I get some money I'll get to take her out on a date and have sex. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's not just like this like trifling energy of, I don't really care about this person, but money would be great. And like, they really do have serious intentions here, but it's just caught up so much in their idea of, I think, what you deserve or what you would demand. Maybe you are someone who has nice clothes or wears nice clothes, or, you know, always has like your makeup done or your nails done or your hair done or something. But they perceive you as money being a major factor in the relationship. That might not even be accurate at all. I feel like a lot of guys especially think that, you know, money is like the only thing that matters to women. So, and I always say to that, like, we don't have photos of like Bill Gates hanging on our walls that were, you know, like teenage girls have posters of like Chris Hemsworth or Timothy Chalamet, not, you know, whoever the head of the like IMF is, or like, you know, the CEOs of like all these Fortune 500 companies. No one's like checking for them romantically. So it's not really just all about money for women, but I think obviously it's nice when someone can take you out on nice dates and stuff. And so, I don't know, but just mentioning that. So I feel like a lot of guys have this idea, and maybe this person is so fixated on you that it's like out of control in their mind, and that's all they can think of. Is like, when I make this money, I can take her out, I'll pick her up in the Ferrari, and she's gonna be so shocked, and the look on her face is gonna be this. And then I'm gonna take her out and make reservations at this restaurant, like whatever the nicest restaurant you guys have in your town. And she's gonna be like, wow, and I'm gonna tell her, order whatever you want. And then I'm gonna get a bottle of champagne. And it's like this fantasy they have that's tied in with money. And that you would be in like the palm of their hand if they had the money, you know? That you would be just like in awe of them, and you would finally be theirs. You know what I mean? Like they really want you to be like theirs, like not dominating, but like they want a little bit of ownership over you. I feel they don't want it to be, in their fantasy, they're kind of the one in charge. It's not an equal partnership where like you know, like you guys go and split the bill, and afterwards you guys equally decide where to go. They kind of want to be like, and I think that hopefully, I always, you know, think the woman can wear the pants just because the dude is paying for things doesn't change it in my mind. But I feel like they have this fantasy about, at least financially, they'd definitely be the ones taking the reins. So you got a bunch of cards here. Keep an open mind, let go of control issues, calling in your soulmate, new love, separation, codependency, flirt. I think that, you know, this person does definitely think of you all the time. I feel like this is their motivation financially. It's like whatever they're doing financially, whether they're buying stocks or trying to work at like a job, whatever they're up to, they think of you, and you're their motivation that keeps them going and keeps them, you know, putting in the work when they're like checking out. And again, I don't really buy stocks, so if I get this part wrong, don't be mad. But, you know, it's like if they go to a website and they're purchasing some kind of a stock, they're thinking of you when they're doing it, you know? And they're thinking like, I wonder what she would say if she saw this. She'd be so impressed if she knew that I was doing this. Like, it's really this like fixation they have of you and a goal they have with you of like being together. You got healing family issues and past life relationship. You guys have such a depth of connection that I would think that I wouldn't be surprised if it's a past life relationship. I feel like there's like a back and forth energetically between the two of you, where you're able to feel their energy, they're able to feel your energy, and it just kind of boomerangs back and forth. And they actively think about you, you know, a lot. They really kind of dream about you, think about you, and just have you on their mind like all the time. And I feel like they do this almost on purpose. Like they would like pull up the love songs that reminded you of them, you know, or like they would go back and look at your photos or your social media, like on purpose. They kind of know, even if it's on a subconscious level, they know what they're doing, in the sense of they're not just, you know, randomly stumbling around and then they have a thought of you. Like they're actively trying to think of you. And I like again, I think they use you as motivation. It's almost like, you know, when they're in the gym or they're working out or whatever, they're like, oh, I wonder if she would like this. How would she think about it? What would she, you know, would she be impressed? Would she, whatever. Like they just constantly are thinking of you. And yeah, you guys definitely. So this one fell, but I got resolving conflict, which is, even though it has the name resolving conflict, I always get that when there's a super strong energetic connection between two people. So I think that that's just, and yeah, like I said, they dream about taking you on dates. And I think like what you would look like, it's almost like they don't think of themselves as being that great. And if you could be with them and you could see the value in them, then everything would be perfect. I think they definitely have you on like a pedestal. They think of you as like a prize. And I think that's why there's such an emphasis on their end about getting money, and you know, and that being like, it's almost like they're so intimidated by you and overwhelmed by you that they put it on money, like as like just to make them feel better. Like if you've ever had a really awful time in your life and then it's kind of like you're so stressed and you're like, this isn't working, and like whatever's going on, you're just like, oh my God, there's no way out. And I have done this where I'll just become like obsessed with the idea of doing a certain thing, like making muffins or something, or like cooking a certain recipe, or visiting a certain place or whatever. And it's like, in my mind, I'll buy all the ingredients online and be like, okay, I need this, I need the muffin tins, I'll get the liners. And it's almost like a coping mechanism because I don't know how to deal with the actual issue. So instead I'll end up like cooking a bunch of muffins, and afterwards, you know, it's like it does help me clear my mind a little bit. But you know, the real thing that I was worried about was like something with my job or something with a friend or something in a relationship. And so instead of focusing on that, I'm focusing on what I can control. And I feel that that's kind of the situation here. Like they are so overwhelmed by you and feel so connected to you that it's almost like in their mind they've just reduced it to like, well, all I need is some money and then she'll be mine. And that's just what they tell themselves, you know, because if they really were to sit down and like go deep into their emotions when it comes to you, I think it's a bit overwhelming, and they sometimes can get into like a mindset of despair or a feeling like they're never going to be good enough. You're never going to want them, that you're probably with, it's so funny that this card popped out just as I was saying it. You're probably with other men or other people, if different genders, but you know, a lot of this is women that I'm getting kind of like a masculine other energy, but of course, if that's not you, you can swap it around. But I feel like, yeah, they envision you with other guys, and it kind of drives them crazy. I don't think they do it in like a, ooh, that's hot kind of a way. It's like a panic thing where they constantly think that you like, I feel like also in their mind, you wouldn't just be with like the next door, the boy next door or whatever. They would imagine you with like the most top tier guy who's like an NFL player and super sexy and like has everything. And this is maybe why they're so focused on money, is because I feel like they just see you as someone who would date the best of the best. And it's like they can't compete, right? And so now they're trying to figure out how they can compete. Maybe they feel physically like they're not, they definitely see you as really beautiful. They see you as like absolutely gorgeous. And I always get this card whenever that's the case, is like they see you as just exuding beauty and just completely just radiant, you know? It's like you're the only one they see. Like other women can't really compare to you. And so because of that, I feel like that can be such a compliment, obviously, but it also can be like it's like, oh my God, can you just shoot your shot? Because I am into you. You're not that ugly compared to me. But it's like that person gets in their mind and they think that like you're so perfect and so amazing that it's almost like then their self-worth shrivels up and then they get into this negative place. And it's all because they like you so much that it brings out some insecurity. And instead of like just dealing with that, now he's like in like this frantic place of like, I'm gonna make so much money and then I'm gonna take her out here, I'm gonna buy her this, then she's never gonna say no if I do that. If I bought her a diamond necklace, she'd have to say yes. Like if I proposed with like a 10-carat diamond ring, she would have to accept, you know, kind of a thing. Like it's like this frantic attitude, and it's like it probably, you know, if you actually just approached the person and, you know, said your feelings honestly, you know, you might be in, but instead they're just really frantic. And again, I think because they have such an opinion of you as being so beautiful, they're convinced that you're gonna get like snatched up by like, I keep hearing NFL players. I feel like this person compares themselves physically a lot to like other men and kind of, you know, feels inadequate. And maybe I also have had a lot of visions of like people working out at the gym. I could definitely see that this person is working out and, you know, like I said, that's their motivation towards you is like, I'm gonna get in the gym and I'm gonna get swole and I'm gonna get super strong. And they just, you know, imagine that if they can tick all these boxes, that then you'll finally be theirs. So there's like this insecurity when it comes to finances and insecurity when it comes to, you know, how they look, their physicality. They, you know, they see you as so perfect, so amazing, and it makes them feel like whoever you end up with is going to be on, you know, like a perfect looking guy like Brad Pitt or whoever. Brad Pitt back in the day, because, you know, he's a little bit older now, but like Brad Pitt in like 1995 or whatever. Like, you know, that's kind of what's running through their mind. And it's almost like there's no way she'd be with me unless there is this element of almost like coercion or financial enticement, and also I think trying to get physically more attractive so that she will be like turned on by them. There's a lot of insecurity here that I think that they disguise as bravado, and they disguise as like, I'm a G and I'm working really hard and I'm gonna be driving that, you know, Porsche around town and I'm as cool as it gets. I feel like that's maybe their go-to, you know, attitude that they bring out is like almost acting like cocky or more confident than they really are. So let me pull some more cards from this deck. So slow down. I feel like that's more what this person needs to do is like they're just so frantic when it comes to you, and it's like they're acting. I feel like it's easier for them to pursue you financially and focus on like getting that coin and working out at the gym and getting swole and all these more superficial things than it is for them to come and be honest with you and actually approach you. I think that the love you guys have is really pure, but it doesn't get represented that way. Like it gets smashed up in this thing of like them being convinced that you're kind of almost like materialistic, and there's nothing wrong with a woman being like, I expect this from my man, or I want him to open doors and I want him to pay for things. I mean, I prefer and I like when the guy pays for the bill. I think that's respectful, so absolutely no judgment on my end. But it's almost like it's become this obsession with them, and I think they focus on it instead of focusing on you. You know, they could probably still, I feel like, you know, maybe they could approach you now and still take you out and pay the bill and open doors and everything, but maybe it wouldn't be the 5-star restaurant they're imagining, or maybe it would be, you know, a kind of not as nice of a car instead of the Ferrari. Maybe it would be like a Honda Civic or something. I mean, I don't know, but it's not necessarily like the Bugatti that they dream about. But yeah, so I feel like it might not be a Bugatti, but you would still be like excited to spend time with them, and it would still be a cool, like, you know, a romantic experience or whatever. This person is so obsessed with that they can't approach you unless they have all this stuff, and maybe it's a way for them to, you know, deal with their fear of actually making themselves vulnerable. I feel like they have such a desire to communicate with you, and so like I said, for some of them they might be in communication with you, but I feel like for many they're not, and it's something they just think about like all the time, is like actually reaching out or whatever. I think even if they are in communication with you, they're not fully communicating their feelings. It's kind of like a random text that are like, hey, what are you up to? Or like, you know, did you see the football game or something? Like random stuff that is not actually showing the depth of their emotion. And for many, I think there's not even communication at all. It's just a dream about communicating. They really want to be in contact with you, but I don't think they feel confident enough to actually show the true depth of their, you know, feelings and emotions. So I think that for a lot of them, they focus on the money and the, you know, cash and like all the kind of more superficial things rather than going deep and rather than making themselves super vulnerable for you. So you got some other messages from Spirit. Close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. And look inside yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. And you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. I think that a lot of these messages are for this person and saying that they should be the ones looking inside themselves, you know, because I think that if they were just honest about the purity of your connection, because I do think it's so pure, and that's why it's funny that they're bringing in like the Bugattis and the like fancy sport cars and the, you know, nice restaurant and the money, because it's like it's so much deeper than that it's like, what are you even doing? Like, why are you bringing up this superficial level stuff that you usually see in more like shallow relationships? Not saying that if you're driving a nice car you can't have a deep relationship, you definitely can, and good for you, but like it's like the, you know, if that's the only thing a relationship is based off of, then that's shallow. You know, you can obviously be deeply in love in a Bentley or in like a hoopty, but if you, the only reason you're in the Bentley is for the Bentley, not for the love, then, you know, it's more of a shallow relationship. And I think that this person, it's like they're convinced that you would never love them and reciprocate with them if they were in the hoopty, you know. And I don't know that that's accurate. Maybe not a hoopty, but maybe like a mid-level car, like I said, like a, I don't know, maybe like a nice middle-range Toyota or something. Like, you know, maybe it's from 2016 or something, and it's not like the newest model, but it's not old, and it's got like, you know, navigation or whatever. It's got like, you know, you can connect it to Bluetooth and stuff. So it's got like all the features, but this person is convinced that they need the full-on Ferrari and the full-on Bugatti and the nicest restaurant in town, and them dressed, I'm seeing like the vision of like Gatsby in his tuxedo, like doing the toast. And that's so weird that that image came to me so strong in my mind, because isn't that the exact thing that story is about? Doesn't that guy Gatsby fake his way into having money because he's obsessed and in love with Daisy? So I think that that is the message from Spirit, and the vibe here is because this person is like Gatsby. Like, it's like there's such a deep love underpinning Gatsby, but then he covers it up with like all the money that he thinks he needs and all the stuff he needs to show off. And it's like the purity of love you guys have doesn't really need that, but that's the mindset he's in. So if you haven't seen that movie or read those books, I think the books are really good, or better probably than the movie. But if you haven't, you know, maybe that's something you should watch, because I think that that sums up his mentality towards you. Is just like, I've got to have all the money, and if I get the money, then she'll finally fall in love with me. And feeling like, and I think also one aspect of that is that he was lying about a lot. I can't remember because I read that book a while ago, and I Saw the movie with friends, and we were all kind of drinking, and I don't remember being that good, but I don't remember the exact details, but I'm pretty sure he was lying about something. I can't remember what, but it was like he was lying about how he got his money, or he got his money. I think he got his money in a shady way, and then I think he was also like a little bit lying. He was lying about his background, I think. So there's this element here too of lying, and I do think it's not necessarily lying from like an evil, conniving place of like, I'm gonna trick this person. But I think it is lying because of insecurity, and lying to try to present a different image than the actual truth. So, you know, lying is probably not the energy that you want around you. I don't like it when guys lie to me, but I've talked about it before that I've had, you know, exes lie out of an insecurity about like small little bizarre things. So I think it's not necessarily a well, I mean, it is a red flag to me, but I think sometimes people lie for stupid reasons out of insecurity and stuff, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't, you know, like you or they don't respect you. Sometimes it means they respect you so much that now they're lying and they don't know how to come to that place honestly and be vulnerable and all those things. But, you know, for me, whenever I see the lying energy, I don't like that. I hate that. I just want people to be honest with me and open. I'm an honest person, so I expect the same back. And when I see that in a card reading, you know, it's definitely not my favorite card when I'm doing a relationship spread. So as far as astrology, we got Jupiter, we got the 5th house ruled by Leo, and we got Gemini. I do think, you know, there's something about Gemini that sometimes Gemini can, you know, not always, like, there's two sides of Gemini. There's like the one side and then the other side that's kind of totally different. And sometimes people perceive Geminis, like all mutable signs, as lying, because Gemini's constantly changing their mind, and, you know, maybe they see things one day this way and then the next day total opposite. And people are like, but you said that yesterday. And I think that this is tapping into that this person's, you know, mindset, I think, changes. I think that they do feel such a deep love for you, and they're able to tap into it on the astral plane. Because like I said, coming through over and over and over is this mental and psychic connection you guys have with each other, that, you know, crosses through space and time. And one of the cards I didn't focus on, but I think it's really important, is act as if your partner is here. Whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. I think that that's how this person is. Even though you're not around, they're constantly thinking, almost like you're their wife or something, about like, oh, she would love this food here. Oh, I think she'd like that restaurant. That looks like a cool place to vacation. I wonder what she would bring on the vacation. I wonder if she would wear a bikini, or I wonder if she would, you know, have these kinds of clothes. Like, that's like how they act. Like, they kind of prioritize you, almost like you are their partner, and you're there like next to them being like, oh, I like this bungalow, let's stay there, or something. Like, they, in their mind, it's like you guys, they're already making like almost long-term plans, and this is where like the money and the foundations comes in. I think they also, it's not all bad that they're focusing on money, because I do think, like I said, their intentions towards you are serious. Obviously, with these energies, they can shift and change, and be different for every person. But I think for many, this person is serious about you, and they do kind of envision like children and a family kind of a thing. And I think that that's another reason why they're like hustling so hard and focusing on their finances and stressing out about like the money situation, is because they want to be able to take it to a place of marriage and, you know, a family and solidness. And they're already doing those calculations in their mind of like, okay, and so private school would be this amount. And so, you know, raising a kid costs this amount. I mean, raising a kid costs apparently like $100,000 to raise the kid to 18. And I think that's without college. So like, that's crazy. So yeah, I think that this person is already running those numbers, and I don't think they're the type that just wants to feed their kids like, whatever the cheapest baby food is at the store. They want everything like nice, top of the line, like the organic, really expensive baby food. That's what they want. They want the private school. This person's kind of bougie, but I can get behind that. If a guy wants to like, bouge it up with me, call me, because I'm down. Like, that sounds fun. But I just think this person is a little stressed out and letting it, get to them and focusing on that rather than actually like making themselves vulnerable to you, which I think would probably be more what you want, is just like, tell me what you're thinking and how you're feeling, but they just feel like, they can't. And I do think like 5th house Leo, and it's also a love house, but I think that this person feels like they kind of need to become that Leo king energy. I mean, Leo is like royalty, and it also is, a powerful kind of emperor energy. It's not as domineering as the emperor, it's more lighthearted, but I think that, Leo corresponds to a lot of like nice things. A Leo wants things done well. My Leo friends are not down to like go for a hike and wear like ratty old clothes and stuff. They want everything to be like nice restaurant, nice car. If we're going hiking, they're gonna be dressed in like cute workout outfits, like an workout outfit, you know what I mean? Like color coordinated, and that's the Leos I know. So I feel like that's kind of what this person wants. They just want things to be really nice for you, and that's just stemming from how much like respect they have for you and the depth of your connection. So we got messages, I need you. You are my wildest dream. I feel so unworthy. I am in awe of you. My heart is yours to crush. So these are all kind of what we've already been saying. I wish things could have been different. So it's kind of the end of the reading, so I don't mean to bring up something totally new, but also an energy I've been picking up through the reading is also like being in separation or a breakup, or you guys just aren't, there was something that has separated you guys. And I do think for some it is a breakup. I think for others it never got off the ground. So I think it's kind of a balance or a mix. But I think for, as far as this person, like looking back on it, there is this sense of loss. It's not just like, oh, well, we never really got off the ground, but we'll end up together and it'll be fine. I feel like if you guys didn't get off the ground, there's something now that kind of keeps you apart. You know what I mean? Like it's something where you guys aren't in communication, or you, like wherever you met, like maybe you met at school and now school's over, or you met at your job and now you guys both are working remotely from Zoom and not talking, not interacting, or that kind of a thing. Like there is like a pause on the relationship. It's not like it's an ongoing thing where you guys are in contact and enmeshed with each other. You know what I mean? Like this is something where there has been a level of separation or something that has kind of put that relationship seemingly kind of in the past, if that makes sense. So obviously it's a general reading and that will manifest differently for different people, and only take what resonates. If some of you are in contact with this person, then go along with the energy that resonated with you. But for those of you in separation, I just feel like this person, that really bothers them, and they do feel like this sense of loss with you. And that might be one of the reasons why we've seen the death card so many times. I feel like there is this energy of really deep regret, and feeling like they messed things up and feeling like it's kind of broken. And then I think maybe this is where these insane level of fantasies come in about the Bugatti and the Lamborghini, and kind of like intense daydreams. It's not just like, I want to get like a I want to get like a nice two-door, like I said, Toyota or something. This is like, I want to have, or even I want to get like a bottom of the line Mercedes or something. This is like, I want to have like $1 million car to pick this person up. It's like, this is maybe their way of coping because they feel like really upset about how things ended, and they kind of beat themselves up about like, why didn't I do more? Why didn't I reach out? Why wasn't I more gung-ho about it? Why didn't I think also like the communication thing is a major thing that they are fantasizing about, and their intentions towards you are like to communicate. So that might have been something they didn't do correctly in the past. But I think that they reach out to you on the astral plane a lot, and on the astral plane they see you guys as being together, and they feel like they can tap into you, and I think that that's accurate. I think that they are tapping into you on the astral plane. You guys tap into each other and have this like psychic connection. You might see each other in dreams, or it might just be a lot of times when people have that kind of dynamic, it's something where like you turn on the radio and boom, all the songs that you guys used to listen to together come up, and it's random, and those songs maybe are a few years old, but you know, or 30 years old, it's like an oldie or something, and it's randomly played on like a non-oldie station, you know, and you're like, what even, why do I keep hearing this song everywhere I go? Or you're doing shuffle on like Spotify or on your iTunes, and you know, it's just like song after song that reminds you of them. So that's a lot of times the things we see when people have that kind of connection, is just spirit kind of colludes to, you know, remind you of each other. And when that person is thinking of you so intently, sometimes you'll just have thoughts of them just like come into your mind and almost overwhelm you. And I think this person does that a lot. I think that they subconsciously know what they're doing, but maybe consciously they're just like, hey, I'm just getting motivation for my workout or something. Or like, you know, they might not know that they're tapping into you, but they definitely are, and they actively do it. And I think it also, you know, they do it even more frequently because they do use you as motivation of like, I'm going to get that amount of money and she's going to think that. And if they're posting like wilding out on their Instagram, like posting bougie stuff, or like, we got, you know, the seafood tower at this restaurant and stuff, a lot of times their thoughts are like, what is she going to think? How is she going to react? She's going to see it. She's going to see it on my Instagram, and she's going to think I'm so cool. And in their fantasies, maybe you would also reach out to them. I feel like if you were to reach out to them, it would be like on like Donkey Kong. But they also know that they should be the one to take the reins, and I think that that's something they're trying to build too. They want to be the one who's like brave enough to be communicating. So I would say wait, don't necessarily reach out, because I think that that's an energy they're getting into, and they want to be the one who is, you know, in their divine masculine energy and actively taking the reins a little bit and actively, you know, pushing things forward. And so I think that that's something I would wait on, because I do think that's their intention. So much about this reading. This was so interesting. So if it did resonate, please let me know, because I kind of want to hear the details about this relationship. I am interested. There was even more that I like couldn't get into, but I feel like we are kind of over the time that I intended, but there's so much depth here and so much sweet emotion. So do let me know if you have some details to share, because I am definitely curious about this relationship. But make sure to like and subscribe, and I will be back again in a few days with another reading. So definitely look out for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, so pile 2, this is going to be your reading. You picked the lovely little round cookie. I just think these are so cute, so fun to look at. So let's get into it. I pre-pulled your cards, so let's see what they are. You got the Knight of Wands, Judgment, the Tower, King of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. You got the 9 of Wands, the 7 of Wands, the Magician reversed, the Fool, the 2 of Wands, the 8 of Wands, the World, the 4 of Wands, and the 10 of Pentacles, putting it up there. So yeah, I think first of all, let's just say that this person has a lot of sexual attraction to you. If you're worried if they think you're hot, the answer would be yes. They definitely do. They have a lot of desire for you. You know, they really see you as just like this sexual, like they have so much sexual energy for you basically. And I think they also see you as someone that they kind of see you as someone who has a lot of romantic options, and they have a lot of ideas that they would have to compete against other people around you. They see you as kind of like this prize, who, you know, a lot of people are after. So these are things that kind of run through their minds, or as far as their intentions go. There's a lot of sexuality, and there's also a lot of this awareness that they're gonna have to compete, and they're gonna have to compete hard for your affections. So whether that's true or not, that's how they do perceive you. And you got the Six of Swords, the Page of, I think these two are reversed. You got the Ace of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the Page of Cups. So yeah, they definitely have a lot of sexual desire when it comes to you. There's also, I think, this feeling that maybe they you know, financially don't have as much money as they would like to be able to approach you. So on their end, that's something, you know, it makes sense if they think that there's so much competition for you, that they also would think that, you know, they're competing with people who might have more money, or there's like this, you know, personal kind of feeling of like, I don't have enough, how am I going to compete? You know, they see you as someone that has a lot of other people interested in them, and a lot of options to choose from. So obviously that can lead to, you know, financial insecurity and stuff. So let's get more cards. Yeah, so we got conflict and defeat. I mean, there's so many like negative cards here, like the Tower card. And I wonder if this person is going, the Judgment card, I wonder if this person is going through a really difficult time emotionally for them, because, you know, I feel like there's changes happening for them also. They might be starting something new, but I feel they feel very unempowered. They feel very like they can't get it together, and they can't be the one. I think this, no, that was there, but I feel that they think that they're like, sorry that I keep saying I feel and then restarting my sentence, but it's hard to, I don't want to say the wrong things here, and I wonder if that's part of their energy. I think that they nitpick at themselves a lot, and it's almost like they can't get the words out, or they're insecure, or, you know, things get like messed up. They feel, for them, messed up in their brain. Like they want to reach out, they want to talk, but then there's this insecurity, and there's like, oh, I can't say anything right, I get everything wrong, kind of a thing. So it's kind of a negative place for them to be mentally and emotionally. I think that that's, you know, something that is definitely probably not the most conducive energy to like starting a new relationship. So you got movements, choices, and decisions, and heart chakra. And movements, choices, and decisions was actually reversed. Some people don't, I mean, you're not supposed to read this deck reversed, but I do. So I would read that as reversed. Like, I feel like this person is having to make a lot of changes and choices in their life. And that is also the Magician card that would be reversed. Like, I think this person is, you know, feeling really disempowered for themselves. They're maybe in a negative mindset of like, I just can't do anything, and this person is so perfect. But I think instead of turning that into like action and doing stuff, they just kind of let themselves stay in this negative mindset, you know? They could have some kind of depression, or just be feeling really bad about themselves, but there is definitely negativity hanging around. And I think that as much attraction as they have for you, it's almost like in some ways it makes it worse, because they just see you as just so amazing, and, you know, they see themselves in contrast to you as just not not able to compete, not as good. It's almost like if you compare yourself to a celebrity or something and you're like, oh, they look so perfect, and that's kind of how they're feeling towards you. I think that they're aware that they have this issue and they want to try to change it. And they know they have to get into a more kind of powerful mindset and more of their own personal power, but it's just right now they just kind of don't know how to go about it. They might be going through a difficult financial period. They might have lost their job or just not be financially as well off as they wanted to be. I do think there's this aspect for them of maybe financially having to be a little bit dependent on someone else, or so this could be someone they're in a relationship with, or even someone taking money from their parents, or borrowing from friends or something. It might not be as serious as they're totally broke, but I do think that there's this aspect where financially they're not able to make the money as quickly as they would like, and they're not able to be as empowered in that area. They're feeling at least very disempowered and very financially just powerless, kind of just they don't feel capable of making the kind of money that I think that they see that you deserve. I think this is a difficult time in their life. This is not a sunshine and roses time. I think in a way, financially, it might not even be an option for them to be dating you. It might be that they just really just actually can't afford it, can't even afford to go out to the Olive Garden and get one of those unlimited breadstick specials. That might not even be on the table. This person I think is really worried about money, and it might be and maybe it's not even that dire of a situation, but it's just they can't be thinking about dating or approaching you in the way that you would like, because for them they're so stressed about finances and stuff. So you got the Gardener, the Sacred Woman reversed, the Divine Feminine, Boundaries. I actually wonder, I feel like maybe these are supposed to be flipped, which would make a lot more sense. So I'm going to read it that way, because that's what my intuition says. I think that this person knows, or what they expect that they would need to bring to the table as far as the relationship. They would like to be able to take you out to nice restaurants and treat you really well, and also just emotionally be there for you, but they feel like they can't. They're so mired in their own, deep emotions and all the trauma kind of that they're going through, that it's they can't be there for someone else. For them, this is a crisis kind of in their life, a crisis period. Emotionally, and I feel that they're really low on themselves, and actually I kind of wonder, maybe that is supposed to be upright. I'm going to switch it back, because we got Luminosity coming up reversed. I think in their mind, they go back and forth between knowing and recognizing you as the Divine Feminine and as this really powerful, amazing woman that they have so much respect for, and then kind of putting you down in their head, and being and I think this is more of a coping mechanism. I don't think this is actually how they see it, but I think that they say oh, she's not all that. She's whatever. She's not that great, or whatever. They go back and forth between being so in awe of you and feeling so impressed by you, and then telling themselves dude, you shouldn't even be stressing about her. She's not that special. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a guy that, I don't know, gets rejected or feels rejected, and then, goes and stalks his ex's social media or whatever, and is that's so stupid. She looks so bad. It's and all his friends probably know exactly what he's up to and why he's bringing up her social media for the 25th time that day, and they're dude, we don't even care that much. She posted a beach photo, and he's yeah, but the dude she was with looks like such a nerd. She's not It's very kind of an unevolved way of dealing with rejection, is trying to reject the person back. I'm hearing in my mind what is that line? I just heard it so clearly in my mind. Oh yeah, you can't fire me because I quit, kind of a thing. Like, it's like they feel like you've already rejected them. So I think mentally sometimes they go into a place of negativity towards you because it helps them deal with all their emotions of feeling not good enough. You make them feel less than, and they feel so disempowered in their life. I really think they feel so negative, you know. They feel very like, we got the Magician reverse. So this person feels incapable of manifesting. They feel incapable of making things happen between you guys. This has been like a tower moment for them where everything's kind of been ripped down, and I think that they have reacted to that sometimes by, you know, mentally in their mind being like, oh, whatever, I didn't want her anyway. Just like when you don't get like the gift you wanted on Christmas, in your mind, to cope with it, instead of being like, I wanted it so bad, which is more of the mature thing to do, and being honest with yourself. You know, sometimes you're like, I didn't even need it anyway. I didn't even like that color. Oh, that doll wasn't that cute looking anyway. I have all these dolls and they're fine. So whatever, I don't care. And it's just a coping mechanism to help you deal with the heartbreak. And I think that's what this person is doing, you know? And so in their mind, they may be saying like, oh, I don't care that much. But in their heart, you know, they have such a deep respect for you and such a deep love for you. But I think that they're in a negative mindset themselves. And I think when someone's in such a negative mindset, it's hard for them, period, to come to the relationship and treat the person with the respect and dignity that they deserve. And that's something that you see sometimes in like low vibration people, is that they tear other people down. And that, so for me, that's kind of would be a warning sign for me, because I'm fine if someone's like, listen, I'm having low self-esteem and I'm working on it and I'm trying to be more positive. That's totally awesome. But when someone's like, I have low self-esteem and so now I'm going to make fun of you and treat you like garbage to make myself feel better, I have a major problem with that. So, okay, so we got the soulmate card. And then 2 cards flew out for yourself, and it is safe for you to love. I think that this person has a lot of trauma in their past. They might have had like a difficult childhood, or just, I could also see a scenario where like they didn't socially do as well, or there were socially traumatic events that happened, like they didn't feel like they fit in, or you know, they had a friend who was like domineering, or they had to change themselves to fit in, that kind of a thing. But I feel like this person does have trauma around that, and this relationship is something that is kind of triggered that in a way. Like it's like made them feel less than in a way that I think they had kind of covered up for a long time, you know? And I do think they worry that you don't kind of feel the same way back, because I do think this is a really deep, like a deep, you know, they have so much attraction for you. I mean, they have so much like to you, you're like it for them. I feel like they just think of you in a sexual way, like all the time. You're always on their mind sexually. And they have this idea that, again, that everyone would want you. And I think in a way that has brought up, like I said, some trauma for them, because it brings them back to those feelings of unworthiness that they never really worked through in their mind. They never were able to, I think they cope a lot by doing things like playing video games, or doing activities that aren't exactly, you know, dealing with the trauma, and are just kind of like distractions. And so you've kind of shaken them out of that, and now they can't really distract themselves as much, you know? They are forced to be focused on you, and to think about you, and to actually kind of weigh themselves up next to like other guys, and actually objectively think about what they're bringing to the table, and if they really do have as much going on as maybe someone else, you know? I think that that's something that they've run away from, because they do have these deep feelings of unworthiness. So we got the deception card, and I've seen the deception and got the vibe of deception going on in this reading. I don't know what exactly it is, but I do think it probably has something to do with, like I said, this kind of trauma energy hanging around this person. I don't know. It's obviously a general reading, so it could be different for everyone, but I do think there's maybe like a family situation of, maybe in their family it wasn't the most good role models. Maybe they had a difficult relationship with their parents, or it also could have been in school. Even someone who fits in or is in the quote unquote popular crowd can have traumatic experiences, where they're pressured to do things they don't want to do, or they feel like they don't measure up, or they just have to do things that they don't necessarily want to do. So there's all different scenarios where someone can kind of take on trauma, whether they were like left out or an outcast or not. And I think that I could see both scenarios. I could see this person fitting in, but I could also definitely see the energy of like feeling like an outcast, feeling like they don't fit in, feeling like no one really likes them or whatever. So I think that whether that's true or not, that might have been how that person felt. And I think that these are deep-seated issues that this person hasn't worked through and needs to work through. And like I said, you've triggered a lot of this stuff and maybe triggered depression or something for them. It could be that you guys like didn't work out. The relationship didn't end up panning out or happening like the way they wanted. And I think that because this is such a deep connection, and we did get the soulmate card, this person, when it comes to you, has such a depth of emotion that they're not able to just dismiss it. I think that the way they, like I said, they kind of will dismiss you sometimes of like, well, whatever, she's not that great. That's their general go-to coping mechanism that I think they've used since like childhood. They have had, disappointments many times before. And so they tell themselves, they have like a go-to script, like, I didn't want it anyway, and it's not that great. And I wouldn't care even if I did get it. Even if someone offered it to me for free right now, I wouldn't even take it. I don't want it. And this is just kind of, I think, something they've developed. It's like if you've ever had to do a job where you have to call people on the phone and you have like a script and you have to read from the script and it's like, hi, how are you? Oh, great. Well, I wanted to tell you about an exciting offer today. So, considering you're one of our top customers, we're telling you, and it's like, you just run through this script in your head, and it's preset, and you know all the different talking points, and that's what this person, I feel, has for themselves for things that don't work out the way they wanted to. And I think that they try to use it on you, but it's like the love is so deep that it doesn't really work. The love they have for you, it just always overtakes them. And I think it's made even more powerful, and maybe this is something spirit and your guides have orchestrated, is like the depth of their sexual desire for you. They think that you're so sexy, and it's almost like they could ignore the spiritual connection you guys have because they can bury it so deep inside their psyche. Even though that's even more of the rare and special thing, they can kind of like cut out their higher self and kind of block their crown chakra and all this stuff. But when it comes to their sexuality, the sexual attraction they feel for you is so deep that they can't block it out and they can't pretend like it's not happening, because it's more of like a physical need, right? And they're like, why am I so attracted to this person? Not that they think you're unattractive, but it's like they're just like, I've never felt this way. I've never been so turned on by anyone. I've never had so many sexual desires about someone in my life. Like, I feel like I'm almost like a pervert or this crazy person that can't stop imagining this person in every sexual scenario you can imagine. So it's like their sexuality has been a portal that makes them unable to leave you behind. And that's, I think, something spirit does sometimes when they know that a guy is in the energy of like being more lower vibration and focusing more on like their selfish needs. Like when their crown chakra is open, they can know right away, okay, like this is love, this is a deep spiritual love. But when that's kind of blocked and messed up and the pineal gland isn't working and whatever is going on, then the spirit kind of has to use other enticements. So it's like, okay, well now you're sexually obsessed with this person. I'm hearing, and obviously this is a horrible relationship and not one I would ever model anything after, but I'm hearing in my mind John Mayer saying about Jessica Simpson, she was like my sexual kryptonite or whatever he said. I think that's what he said. Or he said sexual Agent Orange or something crazy. He was like sexual cyanide or something. It was like he was saying that she was the thing he could not resist sexually. And I think he said that he didn't feel like, or at least Jessica, I didn't read her book, but I know a lot of people read her book and said it was really good. And she said that he would treat her really disrespectfully and like call her and then ignore her, and then she would say something and he would act like it was really dumb and all this stuff, and just basically like game playing, trashy behavior, which is no surprise coming from John Mayer. But yeah, he's a piece of garbage in my mind. But I think that's like a situation where someone is so unevolved and kind of spiritually like not a good person, I guess, or not accessing their higher self. And so spirit is like, okay, well, here's how I can get your attention. I'm going to make you sexually obsessed with this person, and you're not going to be able to sexually get off to anyone else, and you're going to be sexually thinking about them all the time. And I think that that's the situation that is kind of happening here. I hope this guy isn't like about John Mayer. Oh my God. But it would be so funny if someone was reading about John Mayer and they just had to hear him ripped to shreds. But anyway, if you're dating John Mayer, I apologize. But I think that, this person is probably not doing crazy stuff like he did, but they're not as evolved, and they're not open crown chakra wise, they're not open third eye wise, and so they are not able to hear messages from spirit as much. This is not someone who is like a super spiritually open person. I almost feel that they have that blocked. Like they are not, you guys don't have a mental psychic connection as much, because this person is totally blocking it anyway. So, and putting up boundaries and trying to block it. Like I feel that they're kind of afraid of the depth of that connection. And so like I said, spirit has other ways of getting your attention, they have other ways. I mean, I've had like random things happen in my life that have been so pivotal and impactful for like the stupidest reasons. Like I was hungry and I needed to turn around and buy like a hot dog from a food vendor, and then I, ran into the love of my life. That didn't actually happen, but it's like, those kinds of things have happened to me. I have had the most like bizarre, random experiences where the reason for it happening, or spiritual experiences, and the reason for it happening was something small and stupid, like I was craving a certain type of food, or I had an argument with a friend, and then I ended up meeting someone who was super impactful, that kind of a thing. And I think that that's what this person is doing, except instead of them craving like a hot dog, they are sexually really into you, and that's what like spirit keeps pulling them back to. I almost feel like you're like you're like their ideal type. Like whatever you look like is probably like a combination of like the celebrities that they already like fantasized about. You know what I mean? They probably had an idea of like, I really like, Anne Hathaway, and I really like I don't know, someone who looks similar to Anne Hathaway, someone with dark hair. I can't, like Rachel McAdams or something when she had dark hair, and you look like a mix. If you look like those two in a mix, then I'm like, you're beautiful anyway, so I can see why this person's so obsessed. But you know what I mean? You look like someone they would have already been so attracted to. Whatever features you have, if you have blonde hair, or if you have brown hair, or if you have really pale skin or dark skin, a small nose or a large nose, or whatever your eye shape, that's already the kind of thing they had been attracted to, and they'd already had attraction to women that kind of looked very similar to you, and then you came around and it was like, what the heck, did I draw this person, did I like manifest them? And see, that's manifesting miracles. Like I feel like you just look already like this vision they'd had in their mind of like the dream woman. And so I think that, you know, for them, they're going through a really transformative period, and this relationship was put in their life to make them grow and to make them come into a more powerful energy. Right now, they're just feeling so low about themselves. They're really feeling low about themselves. I think for some, they might also be wrapped up in another relationship, because there are a couple cards that make me think of that. And this person could be giving them money or, you know, helping them out financially in some way. So it's like they're kind of tied into that. I just think this person is not acting from their highest vibrational self at all. This person is very, I want to say almost immature. I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm kind of a harsh speaking person. I have Pluto aspecting my Mercury, and, you know, this person is kind of immature. Like they are not evolving to a place that I think you're more at. Like they are more stuck in like the 3D world, kind of like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go get food, and I'm horny and I'm gonna go. And that's how spirit is like working through your relationship, is making this person aware of you just based on a very physical level. Because I think that they're just not capable of handling the depth of your relationship on a more psychic, spiritual level. If they were fully aware of the depth of your connection, I think they'd be scared, kind of frightened, like, oh my god, like it's too much for them. They're already dealing with like trauma and unpacking childhood stuff, and they don't really have the energy to come to you and, you know, fully lean into the depth of this relationship. I think it really scares the hell out of them. And if they could, I mean, and I don't mean this as an insult, but if they could and they had a choice to switch off the connection you guys have, I think they would, because they're just so scared of how deeply they feel for you. And like I said, they also feel so unworthy compared to you. You bring up so many feelings of unworthiness. There are so many signs here about, or cards here about competition and about other people. And this is something this person thinks about a lot, is like other guys or other people. If, you know, the genders have to be swapped, go ahead. But other people in comparison to you, or in comparison to them going after you. So this is something that really takes a lot of their mental effort. And I think that this is why this person doesn't reach out, because you make them feel bad about themselves. Because instead of taking this as the gift it is and recognizing that they are worthy of love, and we're all worthy of love, this person is just being in a very negative place and kind of coming at it from like, she wouldn't want me anyway, and feeling really dejected and feeling really bad about themselves. And so they're not, you know, taking it and being like, I've been blessed with this soulmate relationship. Instead, they just get in their head about it, and they just kind of get upset, and they just kind of start being really negative, you know? And I think that, so they're already dealing with like a traumatic, I mean, that's how someone gets into the mindset. They had some kind of trauma in their life. They're already having to deal with the trauma, and I think how it holds them back in other areas of their life. Like, I feel like they're not living up to their potential financially or work-wise. They're just not in the space that they could be or should be at, because I think this person is more capable than whatever they're doing. And so they're already kind of dealing with this tower moment and this difficult time, and then the relationship with you has just compounded it, because they see you as really having so much of your life like together, and they really see you as so beautiful, and they almost resent you for it. It's kind of like if you go online and you like see like people talking about Megan Fox, and it'll be like some really unattractive guys being like, she's really ugly and she looks really bad and her nose is too big, and you're like, are you crazy? You don't own a mirror? This person is kind of that way, like about you, but not, I think, as mean, but it's like they will be like, I don't care, I'm not, whatever, she doesn't look that good anyway. And it's just because they feel so unworthy compared to you. Because actually, deep down, they see you as so beautiful. And like I said, like ideal type, you're just physically, if they could have made a checklist of like, I like this kind of nose, I like these kinds of lips, I like this kind of cheekbone and eyes and skin color and eye color and hair color and body type and etc., you would like check every single box for them. And it's like they are weirded out by it and they don't feel worthy, and so they, in their head, because they're used to doing this and having this negative mentality, they kind of will be like, whatever, I don't care that much anyway. And it's just immaturity, you know. But I think that that's something this person needs to work through. And you did get the like time card, and I think that this is an element of like things are going to take time because this person needs to work through it. But you guys do have like a spiritual soul connection, and this person has so much desire for you. I think that this person is probably going to continue in this negative cycle for a while until they finally can't run anymore. They're just running hard right now from the feelings they have for you. And when I think they finally realize that they're never going to get away from these feelings is when they're going to make the changes they need to make. But it's like a matter of how long it might take. I'm afraid of getting hurt. And I think this is a theme in this person's life. And you're the first one that's really even made them shaken up to be willing to even feel like they could take a risk, is because they always are so risk averse because they do have some kind of trauma or something, but they're very risk averse, like with their emotions and stuff. They're kind of constantly trying to like protect themselves and keep themselves safe. So I carry you in my heart. I dream about you. I feel so unworthy. Yep. I've got a one-track mind. I've got a one-track mind. I speak to you through music. Let me pull one more. I feel betrayed by you, but I think that that's just, like I said, I think this person has a lot of go-to coping mechanisms for dealing with rejection and feeling less than and everything, so that might be just, you know, the same, different side of the same coin or whatever. I do think I got a one-track mind comes up a lot when there's like a sexuality component, and I just think this person, like I said, that's such a perfect description of it. I always mention the song I got it from, which is One Track Mind by Chromeo. So if you want to feel more of the vibration this person is in, definitely look up One Track Mind by Chromeo. I'll show you the thing again. One Track Mind by Chromeo. It is a really good song. I am not getting promo money from Chromeo. So I just mention it in my readings when it comes up because it just sums up so much of that energy of like being kind of sexually obsessed with someone and being so attracted to them. And even if you are like, but why can't I just think of something else? Why am I just constantly thinking of this person? That's like the energy of the song. And I think that that's so much of what this person feels for you is just, they don't really understand what's going on. And I don't even think they like it. I think if, like I said, if they could stop it, they would. But they can't. Spirit has a way of coming in and making sure that, you know, like we also got I dream about you. And I think that this person does, you know, think about you all the time in their dreams. You come to them in their dreams because I think that spirit is orchestrating and looking over this connection, and they're like, no dude, you can't run away from this, baby, we are coming after you. So even if you're like, even if in their conscious mind they can block out thoughts of you and they can do these stupid lying games to themselves of like, whatever, I don't care either way, in their dreams it's all you, you know? And so you might have dreams of them that seem really vivid, and that's a real connection. You guys might communicate through your dreams. And we also got I speak to you through music. So, you know, you might be driving along and it's like song after song that reminds you of them comes up, and or listening to your Spotify, and suddenly it's like the songs that remind you of him are just popping up. And, or again, switch the pronouns if you have to, but this person, you know, it's because Spirit is looking over this connection, and their guides are like, please stay around, don't abandon him, because I think they see that you have the potential for making such positive change in your life. Because like I said, you've triggered them, but triggering is usually and so often the first step to like a growth process. When you get triggered about something, it shows that there's unworked through pain there. And so, you know, sometimes being triggered can be the best thing for you, and I think in this case it is. And no offense to anyone who's gone through anything really traumatic, obviously you can use your judgment for, you know, how you feel is totally fine. And if you're like, that is not a positive, you know, I totally understand. But just for me, a lot of things I've been triggered about, it's like I worked through it and I'm like, oh, I'm really glad I did, because there was this little reservoir of undealt with pain that I've been running away from. And I think that's definitely the case in this case in particular. And of course that could be different for everyone. But so you guys got the sun, the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo, and you got Leo. I think that's Leo. I always get confused with the nodes. But yeah, I think that's Leo. That is Leo. So yeah, I mean, so you got 2 sun ruled, you know, whatever these are called, like, I don't know, octagon or dice. So I think that, first of all, the sun is so powerful. I mean, it's the 2 luminaries, the sun and the moon, are the most powerful. And the sun is really about new life and energy and bringing, you know, bringing power and energy and life force to everything. And I think that in this relationship, that's kind of what it's doing to their life. They might feel unpleasant about it now, and they're just wanting to go back into their coping mechanisms and like play video games and just kind of waste away. But I think that you have awoken something in them that they, you know, can't ignore anymore, and Spirit keeps pushing it. And that's probably why Spirit made them have the ideal type that looks exactly like you, and you have whatever features you have, obviously not just that you're designed to be appealing to them, but like, you know, you probably look exactly like what they would have been the most attracted to in terms of actresses or models or whatever, or public figures. They probably were like, you know, I have a really huge crush on this person, and then you came out looking very similar or exactly alike. And that's something Spirit is doing because they're guiding, watching over this relationship. But we also have Virgo, and Virgo is debilitated in Venus because it can be nitpicky and very focusing on flaws. And I think that's an energy here. Of course, this could also be their astrological signs, Leo and Virgo. But I also think Virgos, you know, debilitated in Venus, in love, just because they can be so, I mean, the things that make Virgos incredible, like roommates in terms of cleaning all the time, or in terms of being really great workers that can kind of spot like the flaw. When it comes to love, there can be too much of an energy of being like, oh, well, they're like, one of their teeth is slightly crooked, or, you know, they have like one eyelash missing on this eye, and it's so absurd. But I think that that's, like I said, a coping mechanism for this person that they may go to and tell themselves like, that picture she posted is stupid. And it's just, you know, a coping mechanism. It's not them actually speaking from their heart and being honest about their feelings to you or to themselves. So I hope that helped you guys. There's so much here. I am really curious about this relationship. So if it did resonate, please give me some deets. I'm always down to hear, you know, relationship drama, and yeah, I love hearing about it. So if you do have, you know, a story that this resonated for you with, please drop it in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe. I post every few days, so make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on if you want to see my posts when they come up. So I hope that helped you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, so pile 3, this is your reading. This one's heart-shaped, so hopefully you get a loving reading. I love these cookies, they're so cute. But, so I pre-pulled your cards. Let's get into them right now. Okay, so you guys got the Page of Wands reversed. Wait a minute, I did it in the wrong direction for some reason. Okay, yeah, this was the first. Okay, so you got the Four of Pentacles, the Moon, the Two of Swords, the Five of Cups, the King of Wands, the Three of Pentacles. You guys got the Two of Wands, the Empress reversed, the Fool, the Three of Wands reversed, the Seven of Swords, the Three of Cups, and the Page of Wands reversed. I think that was... And lastly, you got the Page of Wands reversed. Did I already say that? You got the Six of Swords. Sorry, that was messier than I intended. But anyway, so you guys, the energy I'm getting here is, first of all, I really am picking up on like a third party situation. So it could be someone that they are dating or married to, but yeah, this is a third party, I feel, for so many of you. Obviously, this is a general reading, so it might not apply to everyone, but I do sense someone else's energy coming in strongly here, almost like, I'm here, don't forget about me. Like, they're like, you are not going to forget about me. So I feel this is definitely a situation where I would pick up on there being someone else in the scenario romantically. I think this person right now is going through a bit of a difficult period. They are kind of feeling like they might have, I think, made the wrong choice, and they are definitely in a period of like assessing that and being maybe wondering about redirecting. So let me pull out the rest of the cards with my Romance Tarot deck. And so I got the Two of Swords. I would like to see that. The Six of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles reversed, the Three of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Six of Wands, the Five of Wands, and finally the Chariot. So I definitely see a third party energy for the vast majority of people who are doing this reading. It's just coming in so strongly. So even if you're like, I don't think that applies, it might be someone that is maybe dating someone and they haven't put it on their social media yet or something, but I feel for a lot of people this is someone you're aware of, and for some people I think this is an ongoing situation. So it could have been a scenario where you came in and this person was already married and this relationship was already ongoing, or it could be a situation where you guys had known each other and, you know, maybe you were together romantically, or you broke up, or you knew each other, it never really got off the ground, but then this person got into it with the third party after you met. So it could be either of those, but I think this relationship is someone you do know about. It's not out of the blue. It's not like, oh, it randomly happened. Because I think this person, and I say that because this person seems to me to already be at the place of regret and second guessing. Their energy is not coming across like, haha, look at me, I'm living it up, I have this great relationship, you know what I mean? They're not bringing up the third party and seeming really happy about it. They seem really sad, quite honestly. There's a lot of cards of regret and confusion and kind of indecision, and also of feeling like they maybe made the wrong choice, or they were under false information kind of a thing. Like they were not reading the situation accurately, and maybe now they've realized it and now they're in this place of regret. But it's definitely not a scenario where they, I think, feel like, heck yeah, I'm in this other relationship and it's awesome. This is someone that I think is, not thrilled about their choice, but they're very much tied into it. The third party came in really strong, really, really, really strong. So this is someone that is not a shrinking violet, I think. It's not someone that's like just going to be like, well, whatever, I understand you're with someone else now. Like this third party situation is looming very large in the other person's relationship. This is another reason I don't think it's new, is because I think that this situation is something they're somewhat linked to. I'm not necessarily seeing any cards representing marriage, but I definitely think that they are strongly linked to this person energetically, and strongly probably linked to them publicly to a certain extent, where there's like posting each other on social media and that kind of a thing. Let me pull some more cards to see what is going on. That might be why the Empress is reversed, because at first I was like, oh damn, so they don't really respect, pile 3, but I actually think that reading all the cards, and this is why I like to pull a lot of them at first, because I think it gives you a fuller view of what's really going on when you can read all the cards instead of just like one at a time. And that's just my preference for reading. Obviously everyone has different reading styles and they're all good, but I think that this is how this person views their partner. There's like resentment seeping in now. They might blame their partner for why they're not with you, which seems kind of unfair, because it's like, excuse me, you picked, you're the one you weren't like kidnapped and chained into a room or whatever. But I think that this person is resenting their partner a lot, and maybe seeing their partner as domineering. I do think their partner has a strong energy, because like I said, the 3 of Cups thing is just coming in so strong. It could be someone who this person is just really stressing out about it, but I just think they're very linked to this person, and they, this person, I feel she's a strong woman who does kind of, I don't want to say tells him what to do, but she is a strong lady who is not going to be the one who's just like a shrinking violet who just lets him do whatever he wants and just kind of like is like really easygoing. Like, not that you could even be easygoing and like let your partner run off with someone else. I think most people, no matter how easygoing, would have a problem with that, but I don't think she's particularly easygoing. And change the pronouns around if they need to be changed around. So I knew that one of these cards was going to come up. So anyway, you got boundaries and the gardener, and these 2 popped out. I asked for one, usually I would, but I feel strongly I'm supposed to read both of those. And so you got love and life purpose. I always get the life purpose card when the guy sees the woman as like the center of his world, because see, she's like in the middle of the world and all this love is exuding from her, and I think that's how they see you, as just like this luminous, beautiful, like kind of like Queen of Cups energy, just so powerful and beautiful and amazing. And I think in a way they contrast you to their partner, and they see you as like so sweet and so perfect and so nice, and it's almost like, I don't know if it's fair to their partner, because some of the difficulties that happen in relationships is like you have to deal with the little everyday things like who did the laundry, or one person isn't like pulling their fair share of the chores, or one person is, just didn't text in time and it leads to like a little fight or something. But sometimes you do have a partner who's like a narcissist, or who's really mean or really controlling. So it's hard to say, because this is his account of things, and sometimes how we perceive things is not necessarily the most fair or accurate. But I just think you coming into their life, or you having been in their life before they met this person and paired up with them, whichever scenario it is, because I'm seeing for some it's both. So, but one or the other should apply to you. You serve as like contrast to this person, and they're always holding you up in their mind of like, well, she wouldn't say that, she would understand, she would be okay. They see you as like a creative and kind of, like I said, Queen of Cups, creative and spiritual and sweet and like nice, emotional, and very almost like Cancerian motherly energy. And so when their partner is like harsh with them, or like tells them to, like, why didn't you pick up your socks, and it's not that there's anything wrong with their partner, but I feel that they just get, kind of then that's when their mind goes to like the contrast of like, she would never say that, she would never ask me that, she is so amazing, and what did I do? And this is where this regretful energy comes in. There could be a factor of this person chose this person for financial or security reasons. It could just be that this person was like the safe choice. Like, this was the woman that wouldn't shoot them down. I do think you have a very watery, creative energy to you. I'm almost feeling like a hippie, not like a real hippie, but like you're sweet and understanding and kind of mellow, and kind of also like, I'm not saying you can't be ambitious, but it's like you're a very sweet person who's also creative. And I think that because of that, it should make you less intimidating, but you have a lot of people who are interested in you. I don't think this is like your first guy that ever looked in your direction or whatever. And so because of that, you, even though maybe you shouldn't seem intimidating because you're like, but it's because I'm a nice person, but because you have so many, you have so many like suitors around you. Like, it's funny, this card came up, even though it's another 3 card, which usually indicates, the other party. I think this sums up like what you kind of are. Like, you're very charming and sweet and nice, and even though that should make your personality seem less intimidating because it's like, oh, she's so sweet, because of, romantically speaking, you have so many like suitors, you have so many options, and this person was intimidated by it, and this person didn't like feeling like they were like having to compete or one of a long list. So they kind of got up in their fields and were like, well, I'm not doing this, I'm gonna run off with this chick who was like gung-ho about me, really wants me, very strong, very direct, very straightforward. She doesn't have all these guys into her. She's not kind of like a soft, I think she's a harder energy, you're more of a soft energy. And so this person knew where they stood with this girl, you know what I mean? They didn't have to guess, they didn't have to feel like, she has all these other guys and I have to compete and maybe I'm not good enough. None of those insecurities got brought up with this person. It was just like off to the races, ready, set, go. The lady was like, basically we're dating and that's it. And so it was very easy for them to just fall into place with this person, and it felt very secure. And they wanted that security at that time in their life. But now that they have it, they realize that maybe it wasn't what I wanted. Maybe there was this deep soul connection I had, and I kind of blew it because I was just afraid of it and I was feeling insecure. And instead of coming from a place of like wisdom and just being like, you know what, I really like this person and I'm gonna take the risk, and it's not her fault. It's not like she did anything wrong because all these guys are into her, but they just got, they just let their kind of fears and their insecurity, run away from them, and they thought they were making a better choice. And I almost feel like they got kind of smug about it, of like, look at me, I'm gonna run off with this girl, I don't need you. And now they're at the place of like, wow, I really messed up. And I do think there is this aspect of social media here where like this person was almost using this relationship hoping it would make you jealous, or hoping you would realize like, wow, look at him, he's got this girl after him and he's in this relationship, and they wanted to make you feel kind of bad. See, deception and envy came up as I was saying that, reverse, because it backfired on them. I think that's why it reversed. You ended up being the one who like looks great, and they're the one who ended up being in a place where they're actually like way more unhappy. They were trying to make you jealous and they ended up completely screwing themselves over. But I do think there's this aspect also that because they use social media to try to make you jealous, now they have put this out there in the world of like, we are together, this is my girlfriend, we're dating, or whatever, we're married. And because they use social media so much, or they put it out there publicly so much to say to everyone like, yeah, I'm dating, even if they don't have social media, then they were probably the kind of person who would like tell it to all your mutual friends of like, yeah, I have a new girlfriend, she's really hot, she's beautiful, yeah, she's really making a lot of money. Oh, well, like they wanted to make you jealous, and they needed to do that publicly so that you would find out about it. And because they made it so public, now they're linked with this person, like in everyone's eyes. So now if they break up, everyone is going to be like, oh my God, what a dog. He broke up with her. I can't believe it. He, you know, what's wrong with him? Why didn't he make this relationship work? I feel like the woman he's with also puts out like a very good, sorry if the pronouns, you can switch them around if you're a guy, and you know, you definitely can, because I think there can be situations in this reading where it's definitely a guy reading about a woman, or the watcher could be the woman, the man, and the other person they're asking about could be a woman. So I hope that explained it and it wasn't too confusing. But I think that this other person, the third party that is in this scenario, makes a good impression. This is like a responsible type of person. I sense, you know, they're the type of person who's like good at their job, almost like a little type A, the kind of person that makes a good impression, kind of the type of person that, like, if you brought them home to meet your parents would probably be like okay with it, or be cool with it, or be like, wow, nice, wow, that's a good, you know, that's a good get. So I think this person really kind of, they thought it was great at first because they were like, wow, everyone's going to be so impressed, but now they know if they break up, they're going to be the ones that look bad, not the other person. And that's something that they really care about. You know, they care about their public perception, and it's something that really holds them in this relationship, and there's this desire to move forward, but it's like they're afraid of what's going to happen next. This already didn't work out for them, and I feel like they know kind of what they have to do, and they're moving through the heartbreak they have for you, but they, you know, they still feel very locked into this relationship. I think that, you know, like I said, there's a lot of desire to actually come to you and to make it happen, and that's what they want to do, but they feel so locked into place and kind of trapped that it's like they just don't, you know, they can't make themselves do that at the current moment. And so we also got so many cards that have to do with like soulmates and stuff. And I do think that you guys have this deep love or like connection between you guys. You guys have probably known each other in another life and made a soul contract with each other. You guys have a deep connection, and their feelings for you are really deep. I think that's in a way why they ran away from it, is because, you know, it was easier with this person. When you have a soulmate or a deep spiritual connection, those bring up all kinds of uncomfortable emotions, you know? And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. A lot of people don't want to have like this deep heartbreak and deep emotion and deep feelings, and have, you know, going into like all this kind of like childhood trauma, emotion, and deep love brought up to the surface. They want to keep that stuff tamped down. And so I think that was part of why this person got with someone else or stayed in their relationship, is because they were wanting something easy. They were wanting something that wouldn't challenge them and wouldn't bring out so much emotion. I feel like in a way, like if you guys were together, they would be worried every time you left the house, you know, and every time you had like a flight, they'd be like checking flight arrivals and making sure it got in safe and making sure there were no like, you know, knock wood, but no, you know, plane accidents or anything. They would be constantly worried every time you like went anywhere, because it would be like another piece of their heart was walking around outside. And it scared them. They didn't want to feel that way. And so they thought, well, let me just run off with this person who's making it so easy. And I'm like maybe sexually into them or whatever, but they're not stirring up those deep emotions. So it was just an easier situation. It just fell into place. I feel the other party made it so easy. Like I feel like the other party was just, you know, they could do whatever they wanted, kind of, the person you're asking about. So I'm just going to duck into like some gendered pronouns to help, because most of my readers are women, and I think most of them are asking about men. So I'm going to do, you know, the pronouns, but if you are a guy reading this, you can totally apply it to the chick you're asking about or whatever. So for most of the women reading this, it's like this guy, the other party, the other female situation that he's with, his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, she made it really easy. You know, he could have like taken her out to like Burger King on the first date or whatever, and she would have been like, okay, that's fine. And she probably, like, they probably slept together fairly early. You know, he didn't have to like wait or be on his best behavior or anything like that. It was just an easy relationship that just kind of fell into place, didn't challenge him at all. You know what I mean? Just boom, boom, boom. Everything is fine. Everything's easy. I don't have to try. I don't have to worry. I don't have to feel insecure. And it was just like, it just kind of happened, you know, one of those relationships that just falls into place so easy. But now that they're kind of locked into it with this person is when they are like, oh my God, the person that challenged me is the one I really wanted to be with, and I kind of blew it. I do think they're also aware that their constant social media posts and the way they just blasted it everywhere, the way they blasted it everywhere has now really backfired, because I think there's also hurt on your end, and they know that. They know that you feel hurt by them. And so that also keeps them from coming forward, because they, you know, they feel like, oh my God, if I reached out to her, she would never, ever, like, why would she take me back now after everything I've done? And it keeps them in a really negative mindset, and it keeps them convinced that they really are stuck. And that's one of the reasons they don't want to leave their current relationship, is they feel like if they got with you, or they try to get with you, that you'd reject them, because why would you be with them after how they treated you? At least that's how they view it. You might not think it was that bad, but in their mind, they're like, oh, I totally disrespected her. I was totally awful. So, okay. So, we got, I love you. Be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. Demonstrate love. Find out what is important to those you love and act on it. Honesty is essential. And get to know each other. I think that this person knows that they have to reach out to you and tell their feelings. And this is something they really think about doing. This is something they really want to do, is to move forward with your connection and actually do something about it, and do something to flip the heartache and make it into more of like a happy ending, instead of just, you know, being with each other in the spiritual or astral realm, but not in the physical. They want to be with you, like actually be with you. But I think that they're so locked in with this other person, and they're afraid of what's going to happen if they end up making themselves vulnerable. You got time. You are trying too hard. Give it time and look deep within your heart, and you will feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean. So yeah, this is someone that really does have so much like love for you. I just can't say it enough times, but it's just what's coming up over and over. Like, I guess they just really want to make it clear that they really are in love. You got power. You instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or walk away at any time. I think this is something this person thinks about a lot, is walking away from his partner, and it's almost like he's right there ready to do it at any moment, but he just can't pull the trigger, kind of a thing. Metaphorically speaking, obviously. He just can't get himself to actually do it, and I think it's because of all his worries he has. If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for the heart is the gateway to the soul. So I think that this person knows, you know, what they need to do in their heart. They do know that they should reach out to you and that you guys are supposed to be together, but they just can't, you know, there's like material realities about this connection. The third party is real. They can't just contact you and be like, let's go out to eat. Because you're like, dude, I saw your person posting about how you guys went out to dinner and had a romantic walk on the beach afterwards, literally last week. So I know you guys are still together. Even though they're with this person, it's like they're not fully with them. They're thinking about you all the time, and you're absolutely the number one person to them. But they are with this person, and they've gotten themselves in this really tricky situation. And it's up to them really to extricate themselves. I think one thing that's also interesting is we got energy of like fighting, you know, in this relationship, arguing. I do think that this relationship they're in is like tense. And I also think that they feel like they're going to have to fight off other suitors when it comes to you. That's also something is like there's just this awareness that if you guys were to get together, like they would be competing against a lot of people, which I think is true. But I think that for you, you know, you guys have a deeper connection. It's not just like who has the best defined abs or whatever. It's like you guys have like a spiritual soulmate situation going on. So I think that this person lets it get to them, this idea that you would never really pick them, and why would she ever be interested in me when she has all these guys who are interested in her. But I think that the fighting in the relationship and the fact that they just feel they're so kind of obsessed with you and their thoughts are always on you, so it's like they can't keep pretending that everything's okay in their relationship and that it's going to be fine. Let's get some astro dice. Okay, so you got the third house. You got, I think that is Uranus. Or is it Neptune? I think it's Uranus. I'm pretty sure it's Uranus. And you got... Oh, why are they getting all those signs that I always mess up? I think that's Capricorn. Okay, so you got the third house, which is ruled by Gemini. And you got you got Uranus and you got Capricorn. So a lot of third house is really about communication. And again, I think this is something that this person really thinks of all the time, like reaching out to you, moving forward, pushing this connection forward. And Uranus is really about sudden, out of the blue, kind of crazy events. And so I think that this person thinks about, it's this urge that constantly comes up that's so strong. And then I think they tamp it down, but it's almost like it hits them out of the blue, like overwhelmingly. Like, have you ever just been like hanging out and then suddenly you had the biggest craving for food ever, and it's like a specific food, like a chocolate donut or like a taco or something, and you're just like, if I don't get a taco in the next hour or the next 2 hours, I'm gonna like rip this pillow to shreds or something. Like you need that food. I get this way usually like a week before my period, and I think I'm losing my mind, and I think I'm about to be on my 600-pound life. I'm eating everything in sight. I need chocolate, and then it's like my period happens a few days later, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that was, duh. But I always just, have these cravings that just feel so much stronger than any normal like food craving or anything. It's like it's out of body, it's just so strong. And I feel that this is what happens to this person. They feel like out of the blue, like, oh my God, I need to text her, I need to call her right now, I'm gonna do it right now. And then their higher kind of processing takes over, and the Capricorn energy kind of takes over, and then they feel like, wait a minute, what? No, I can't do this. I have a partner. Everyone knows us being together. Capricorn is also about that. It's about respectability. It's about how people see you. It's about how you're perceived by the world. It relates to the 10th house, which is like your midheaven and how you are seen by others and kind of your career reputation. And I think that that's what keeps this person back. They don't want to look like this slimy guy who's like cheating on his partner, and they don't want to look reckless, and they don't want you to reject them either. And that's a major fear. So it's all these fears kind of combining and making them unable to reach out. So what are other messages? What are the intentions of pile 3's person? I have so much work to do. That's very Capricorn. I dream about you. I'm not good enough for you. You are mine. I've made so many mistakes. I definitely think this person is beating themselves up about the fact that, and I dream about what might have been. Oh, if I can get this. I dream about what might have been. So I think that this person is in such a regretful place of how they handled things with you, and they know that you guys have such a deep connection, and I feel that they had to do this path. They had to get with this other person because I think they weren't appreciating you the way you deserve to be appreciated. They weren't willing to step up and give everything to this connection because they were caught up in their own heads and they wanted an easy way out. And now they've had the easy way out and they realize it will never come close to the connection they have with you and the feeling they get when they're around you. And they're finally starting to realize that whatever it costs to be with you, so if they have to compete against 90 other guys or 10 other guys or however many other guys, it's still gonna be worth it. They might not feel good enough, but nothing is going to satisfy them until they have you. It's kind of like for me, you know, when I get those period cravings, sometimes I'm like, well, okay, I don't have chocolate, but I think I have this indulgent food. I'll just eat the chips I have, or I'll just eat, you know, the like frozen waffles that I have, and I eat those and I'm like, okay, and I am craving the chocolate still, and I should have just walked to the convenience store and gotten chocolate, or I should have just ordered some on, you know, Uber Eats or something. But so it's like after that, I may be full, but I'm still gonna want that chocolate bar. So I might, you know, pop out and actually walk myself to the convenience store and get the chocolate. And so I think that that's what this person is having to do, is having to realize that it's time to put on their coat and get all bundled up and go out and get the chocolate, you know? And they might have those chips at home, but the chips aren't going to satisfy. That is like the longest metaphor. I just keep going back to that, but it really applies so much to this. Is this person really thought that they could satisfy themselves with something else, like a little bit similar? Maybe she's kind of similar looks or similar personality or something. And maybe they were like, well, whatever, she'll satisfy, she'll do, but it's not you and it'll never be you. And, you know, it just is not, it's not good enough for them. And so I think that they are in that point now of realizing like, I messed up and now I got to backtrack and now I got to fix everything and find a way for us to end up together. But I do think that that's that person's intentions. You know, they are coming into a period of knowing that they have to put themselves out there. We ended with the Chariot, which is all about forward, forceful motion. So I think that that's that person's intentions. I think that this person does feel strongly like they want to change things and they do want to reach out, and that's a goal of theirs at the very least. They're coming into that energy of realizing that, you know, nothing else will satisfy, and they're not going to be there. They can either be with you or they'll be unhappy in the end, and that's kind of their choices. So yeah, I mean, they may be able to extricate themselves from this third party sooner rather than later, because there is that energy of like, I want it now. I want to make it happen. I want to talk to this person and I want to reach out. And they are realizing that they made a huge mistake. So I hope that helped you guys. If it did, please leave it in the comments. I love hearing about your relationship dramas and stuff, and this one is really interesting. I love this story. So if it resonated, please let me know and make sure to like and subscribe. I post these videos every few days, so if you want to see more, subscribe, and I will see you guys in a few days for a new reading. Bye! Okay, so pile 4, this is going to be your reading. You guys got the star cookie. I love this cookie. I love fake food, if you can't already tell. I just think that's so cute. But anyway, let's get into your reading. I pre-pulled cards, so let's get right into it. You guys got the Hermit, the 3 of Cups, the 2 of Cups reversed, the 5 of Cups, the King of Swords, the High Priestess, and the 3 of Swords. You guys got the Moon, the 9 of Cups, the Fool, the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. And let's get into the other deck too, which is the Romance Tarot. You guys got the Knight of Cups, the Hierophant reversed, the 9 of Wands reversed, the Star, Temperance, the World, 10 of Swords, the Page of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the Judgment reversed. So yeah, so first of all, I feel this person is probably in a third-party relationship. You guys seem to have a spiritual or psychic connection going on, because there's a lot of cards about that. And I feel this person really loves, they feel really positive about the connection you guys have. They tune into that and they really love it. For them, it's a positive thing, that they can feel your energy, and I feel it really gives them so much sustenance. But I also think for them, you know, this third party situationship or whatever is going on with that, I think that, you know, for them, it might be you in another situation or something, but there's something blocking your union from coming together. And I think that this is something that they follow, like they're kind of listening to their heart a little bit, even though their mind might tell them like, we're not together, what are you doing, you're crazy. But they can feel this psychic connection that you guys have that gives them so much sustenance and so much connection. I also feel like in the past they've made a bad judgment, so it could be that that's why they're in the third party. It could be that they decided to go off with this other person, or way in the past they decided to get with this person before they ever met you, but they're definitely an aspect of regret. I'm also getting marriage in this. So this could be someone who is married. They could have been married when you guys met, or they could have married someone subsequently. But I do see the energy of marriage in this connection. And so I think that might very well be the decision that, you know, they're regretting and they're looking back on, because there's definitely the aspect of them feeling like they really made a big mistake and looking back like, oh God, what an idiot I was, what a fool. And I think that, you know, for you've come in and kind of meant so much to them, and they're just following you, and they see a new start in you. They're following you on a deeply unconscious level. Even if you guys aren't talking, they feel like they can talk to you in the astral realm, and that you guys have a spiritual connection. They can communicate with you, even though you guys aren't, you know, actually talking and aren't actually together. I'm going to shuffle this deck on top of the cards. So I usually shuffle down below, but these are so big. So, oh, that shuffle went badly. But anyway, so yeah, they, you know, they feel like they communicate to you, not so much verbally. I see that they want to reach out to you actually verbally and actually have a real conversation. But they talk to you all the time astrally. I mean, you guys are like chatting in the astral realm, and I think you guys, you know, have like full-on conversations in like your dreams, or I feel you guys are probably both very aware of how the other person's actually feeling that day and what's going on with them. And, you know, you're able to kind of like predict each other's moves. None of this might come to a surprise to you, because you might be like, yeah, I already knew he was regretting his relationship. I already knew all of that was happening, because you guys have such a deep connection when it comes to the psychic aspect and the you know, not so much mental as in like right brain, I think, but like more of the deep third eye kind of a aspect, you know. I think that this person, you know, is rooted very much with the other person. They have a relationship with them that I believe is a lot for a lot of them marriage, and is rooted in kind of like traditions, and they know each other very well, and everyone knows them as being together, and they are linked in many ways. You know, it's not just a relationship that I think that they can extricate themselves easily and just be like, hey, listen, I'm not feeling it, gotta go, bye. This is a relationship that I think for many there is marriage, and if they broke up, it would mean divorce, it would mean lawsuit, you know, not lawsuits, but legal issues, having to go to a law firm and sort things out in court. So it's not really just a situation they can just leave. And I think that this is where they come into the regret, you know, is they really, I think that in a way they had never really known full love until you came into the scenario, or you came into the picture. But when you like, you know, entered, I think that they suddenly realized what love really meant. And I think that in this situation, you know, they're just kind of trying to play the waiting game a little bit, trying to wait and see like what is going to happen, how does she feel, because for so much of them, you know, they've been locked in with this other person, and then I think you came in with your psychic energy and awakened a totally different side to them, you know. And I think in a way they had been linked to this person I feel like before they met you somehow, and you've come in and, you know, made them realize what they actually want. It's kind of like if someone's never had a food and they're convinced that, like, you know, they're like, oh, I would never eat that. I would never want to eat like pate or something. And then you are like, no, have a slice. And suddenly they love it. And I think that's the situation. They may have never imagined that they would meet someone like you, or even be drawn to someone like you. And then you came in and just transformed everything for them. We got religious factors and healing family issues, both reversed. So I think that those could be some of the reasons you guys aren't together. I do think this person has been a traditionalist for most of their life, and they wanted to do things by the book. They wanted to like meet someone and, you know, settle down and have a white picket fence. So even if they got with this person after they met you, that was still the goal that they were kind of pursuing and looking after. But I think for a lot of people, this is someone that you met, and while they were already in a relationship, I guess. You got, this could be the one reversed. And heart-to-heart conversations. Reconciliation. It is safe for you to love. And we got worth waiting for and forgiving and learning. So with all these forgiveness cards, you guys might, for many of you, you might have actually known this person before they got with this other person. And that might be what they're kind of apologetic about and kind of asking for forgiveness about, is that you did know them and then they went off with this person after knowing you, which I feel like is a, you know, it's kind of a betrayal. If someone, you know, you can kind of understand if someone got with someone before they met you, but when they already know you and they're running off with someone, it's really difficult to accept that. I felt like we had some more cards for this deck, so I'm just going to pull some more. We got Moving On, and we got Destiny, New Beginnings. I do think this person thinks a lot about getting with you. And in a weird way, even though there's so many negative cards and there's cards about feeling really defeated and stuff, there's also really optimistic cards in this deck. I feel like this person, even though they are locked into this situation, they're like excited about you. It's kind of weird. It's like, hello, are you like crazy, or you don't have a grip on reality? Because you guys aren't together. But in their mind, they're already kind of celebrating, and they're already in a really positive place of like, oh my God, I'm so in love with her, she's so awesome. Or again, switch the genders if you have to, or if you're a guy asking about a girl, feel free to switch it around. But like, this person feels really positive about you, and they feel really excited about their life. I feel like you're like this motivation for them that kind of keeps them going and keeps them in a positive place. They might be really tapping into your energy, and you guys might be feeding each other, you know, energy, because you can do that. If you have a really deep connection with someone and like you're having a bad day, you can remotely tap into their energy and kind of leech a little off it and feel better. And that might be what's fueling this person, because I just see them feeling so positive towards you, and I'm kind of like, wait, I'm seeing like marriage or divorce in here, third parties. So I don't know why they just seem so positive in some lights, and then also negative and feeling regretful in others. So we got boundaries, worthiness, the distorted feminine reversed, the rainbow reviver. I was watching to see if that card would come out. Intimacy, the distorted masculine, life purpose. Okay, what does pile 3's person feel about them, or pile 4's? The sacred woman. Wow. So when the rainbow reviver comes out, that's really a message to empaths that they need to do things to actively clean their energetic fields. And we get that a lot. I see that when, like, this is why I said, I wonder if he's positive because he's leeching off your energy field. So I was already picking up on that. I think he is, and you might be totally okay with that because this person, you obviously feel connected to them, and you might be like, leech all you want, baby, take all the good energy. But for me personally, I used to have that mentality, but I realized I was leeching out energy that I needed for myself, and I needed it for other things. And like, we can create more energy, and energy is not finite, but it takes time, right? It takes time for you to build back that like joy, happiness, whatever you had, when someone's kind of like siphoning bits of it. And I don't think they mean to do it in like a negative way. They're not like, I'm gonna steal all our energy, but it's just like, ooh, this feels so good. Kind of like if you walked into someone's house and they had a beautiful mansion full of like gold items, and you might be, if you didn't know any better, you might be like, oh, this is so awesome. Oh, I'm going to take some of this stuff back for my place. This is great. I love this. I'm going to take this gold vase and I'm going to put it in my apartment because it'll make me feel so much better. And if you didn't have anyone there to tell you, like, no, don't do that, you might not know that. Well, now this person is missing their gold vase, and they're gonna miss it. They're not gonna have it anymore because you took it. So even though you're benefiting from it and you love having a gold vase in your place, this person is no longer gonna have that item. And so I think that sometimes people do that energetically without realizing it. They sometimes are feeling low and in a place of like, you know, being depressed or upset, and then they'll tune into like someone else's energy field, like their partners or whatever, and feel a lot better, but not realizing that their partner might have lost some energy, you know, by that process. And it's not to say that we can't energetically connect with each other or depend on each other or, you know, be reliant on each other, but I just think when this is someone constantly siphoning off from you, it does have a cost for you. Sorry, I had to take some water, but, and that's what the card is really saying. That's what Spirit wants you to know is like, as much as you may like this person, you might have to start putting up some boundaries with them, which is another card that came out. And I realized it as I said that, but you know, you might have to I think they want you to put up some boundaries and maybe wear some protective stones and crystals. You could do tourmaline or, black obsidian or anything like that. Not that this person has negative energy, but I just think that they sometimes like just tap into you and, you know, just kind of steal some energy. You might be like driving along, kind of minding your business, and then it's like, boom, thoughts of them are just overtaking you. And a lot of times that's because that's what they're doing. They are tapping into your energy and kind of taking some for you, for themselves. And you have like high priestess spiritual energy. You have a very spiritual, aware, awake sensibility to you. And so this person, I think you're already communing with like the other realms and stuff, and you're already kind of having your crown chakra open, right? And when you first open that chakra, you just kind of like leave it open, and you don't realize that like other things can come in, other people can access it. So it might be something that you need to start learning to protect yourself. Asking for protection from your angels is so great. I mean, Saint Michael is like the ultimate protective angel, so you can do a prayer to Saint Michael and ask him to protect you, and ask him to protect you psychically, energetically, and that would help a lot. Asking Saint Raphael to heal up your energy field so that it's kind of patched up and back to normal is another good thing to do. And they do want you to do this. Rest and relaxation is essential. We all have a fundamental need to take a break. And I think that's something that Spirit is saying really loudly, is that, you know, they love how kind you are and how sweet and like caring, and how you have like given parts of yourself to this person. And that's a really positive and beautiful thing, but it also means that your energy field is not being honored as much and is not going to be as pristine as it would have been. Spend quality time together, but I think you guys spend a lot of time on the astral plane, and that's why you have this beautiful connection. But it's also, in a way, and this is something that I've done before, it's allowing this person not to come forward because they're getting so much energy from you. You guys truly do have like this beautiful connection between the two of you, but I also think you need to maybe put up boundaries if you want, to make sure that they aren't just able to siphon off energy from you instead of dealing with their problems, right? Like maybe their wife doesn't fulfill that side of them, but then they can psychically tune into you and channel your energy and they feel so much better and they get the support from you that they would never get from their wife. But for me, I was like, I don't want someone doing that to me if there was someone else, you know? I want someone focused on me and me alone. So I think that's something that, you know, you have to consider, and obviously everyone wants different things, but I think that Spirit is urging you to make sure that you're just protecting, looking after yourself, and not just letting someone like take your energy or tune in whenever they want, and then they're off doing their thing, maybe with their partner, and you're kind of by yourself and just chilling, you know, and you're like, okay, you just took all my energy and now you're gone and now I don't get to see you. You are limitless and you can do anything you choose. And appreciate this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love. Something, not to harp too much on this, but something that I recommend for all empaths and all high priestess type energies is taking regular salt baths. I like to say Psalm 23 over it as I'm putting the salt in, and you know, that is so crucial to like maintaining your spiritual cleanliness and strength, is just draining yourself of all the other negative energies. I feel like this is the kind of situation where this person can tune into your energy, and if they're having like a really hard, bad day, or someone was really rude to them, they can kind of tune into you and like dump it on you. And then, but that's the problem, is then you have to clean it. So taking those salt baths and just putting the some of the boundaries up, I think would be like a positive thing for you, because I think this person is so focused on you right now and so focused on the beauty of your connection, and it is a beautiful, wonderful connection, but they're not dealing with their third party situation, and it's like, excuse me, you're still linked in this. It could be someone they're dating. I definitely see marriage in these cards, so it could also be someone they're engaged to or married to, but this is someone that, you know, is getting so much of their happiness and joy from you, instead of dealing with what's going on and accurately looking at their situation with their significant other and actively looking at it and saying, you know what, I gotta change it, or I gotta get out. Or am I getting the same kind of fulfillment from my partner that I should have gotten from them, and instead I'm relying on someone else to give that to me? And that's not really fair to you, because you don't really get, you know, some of those benefits of like being someone's publicly recognized partner or spouse. Like when someone passes away, for example, if they're married, you know, that's where all the money will go. Or if they have a public partner that they recognize, and all their friends and family are like, oh, okay, so they're with you. And you don't get any of those benefits. They're just kind of siphoning off of you a little bit and not necessarily putting back what they should, you know? I do think that this is a healing connection. I think both of you benefit, but I just think it would be a good idea to somehow put up a little bit of boundaries, because I think in a way you're making it too easy energetically for this person. You're such a spiritually divine person, and you're so spiritually powerful and like tuned into source and have such a pure, strong energy about you, that I think this person is benefiting, you know, de facto, because you guys have the connection. Kind of like when you're like the girlfriend of like an NFL player and you get all the free seats to like the game and you get to go to like the Super Bowl or whatever. That's kind of like the situation here, but spiritually. Like this person is benefiting from you spiritually and from all the spiritual work you've done, and they're not necessarily putting back the same amount into the connection that they're taking out. I think you benefit from it, and you're so spiritually powerful that it's kind of like you can handle it, you can take it. It's not like you're being drained and you have nothing left, but I just think it's not like a reciprocal thing where like it's like equal. It's almost like you're the third party in this relationship, and you're like the one propping it up and keeping everything together, because they, I think, don't have as deep a connection at all. And I think that this person that you're asking about would be a lot more unhappy and a lot more like cranky, and the relationship would be a lot worse off if they weren't thinking about you all the time. I know that like makes no sense, like who would be grateful or thinking that, you know, a third party or someone outside the marriage would benefit the marriage. But I actually think that's what's going on here, is this person you're kind of keeping the relationship alive because you're keeping them in a good mood. You're keeping them feeling happy and energetic and keeping them from feeling drained or upset with their partner. So you're actually like the one propping it up, except you don't get any of the credit, right? Publicly, you don't get to be in like the vacation photos, and you don't get to have like the wedding announcement in the newspaper, and you don't get to have like, you know, the ring on your finger and all this stuff. So you're not really getting any of the benefits, and yet you are like the one keeping this thing going in many ways. And I think if you withdrew a little bit and you were to just be like, you know what, I'm out, and you're not tuning into my energy, and you could do things to cut those energetic cords, although that's kind of a serious thing that you should make sure you want, because yeah, I mean, that can be kind of like intense. But you can ask like Archangel Michael, like, I don't want to talk to him on this astral realm anymore, just block him, and he'll be like your bodyguard and not let him in, like he really will. So I think that let me get some more water because my throat is so dry. But I think that that might benefit you a little bit, and you might be surprised. You might be like, well, I'm okay right now, but you might be shocked by how much more energy you have to give to other things when this person isn't kind of draining it from you and constantly contacting you and constantly being in touch with you. Because I think that they do that more than they or you realize. I think that they're constantly kind of tuning into you, and you're making them feel so happy, but it's like, you need to deal with this situation, sir. Like, hello, this is not just like the dream scenario. Like, you're married or you're in a relationship with this person, and it's almost like you're making their life way too easy by helping them so much and giving them all this beautiful divine energy that you carry with you as the High Priestess energy. So we got a bunch of, first of all, I think this card is really speaking about your divine High Priestess power. Sorry about that, we got interrupted. But yeah, I just think what I was saying, I might have lost my train of thought, but that you are the High Priestess energy, and this card is really about that. It says, imagine all unwanted thoughts dissolving into light, creating room for new opportunities and possibilities for your life. But I think what that's really about is it's not necessarily about you having to dissolve your negative thoughts. I think they really want you to work on somehow creating some boundaries. So maybe imagining boundaries between you guys, or, you know, learning to make sure that you put up some energetic projection just so that no one can come in and just, no matter what their intentions, end up, you know, taking some of your energy away from you. So we also got these message cards. I've got a one-track mind. I speak to you through music. I definitely see, you know, that you guys have that kind of connection. Like I've said so many times, you guys have this unspoken connection, and I do think this person speaks to you and taps into you in so many ways, including through music. This is definitely, you know, one of the ways they communicate. I also think they come to you in dreams and speak to you through your dreams. So I feel like in many ways, you know, even if you're not driving along and hear all these songs about them or whatever, they are always kind of connected to you. You guys have that deep connection. We also got I need you, and I do think they do. I think they're benefiting so much from their connection with you. In their actual relationship that they're in, I think they feel very burdened, you know. They've made this choice to be with this person, and it's like this relationship is weighing on them in many ways. The relationship is them kind of carrying this heavy load, and then they can tap into you, and it's like you just lighten it completely, and you make everything better, and they don't really have to confront the fact that they're feeling that way about their relationship. It's like you're like the distraction. You're like, you know, when people get stressed out and then they'll go home and they'll have like something sweet to eat or something, and then it's like they feel better. You're like that to them. Or, you know, someone who's like working in a coal mine or a really difficult job, but then they come home and they have like a sweet loving situation, and, you know, their wife is like stroking their hair and they feel better. And that's what you're doing, except you don't get the wife status. And so I think that instead of them actually confronting that, and the coal mining job is their relationship with their wife, it's so like confusing and backwards, because, you know, if they're going to be getting that kind of support from you, I feel like they need to do the hard work of, you know, ending their other connection. But right now they're linked in that, you know, and I think that this is a path that they're on, spiritual path. and a spirit, you know, this is something that is going to cause you guys both to grow. They see you as so like perfect and so amazing, and I think they probably think that a lot of their thoughts about you and a lot of the connection they perceive as having with you is like a dream, or like it's like they're hallucinating, or they're hearing voices or something, or they've gone crazy. It's like they can't even imagine that what they've done to have this deep connection with you. They don't feel deserving of it. And I don't think in their wildest dreams they ever imagined that they would come to this kind of a relationship and this depth of a relationship. I feel like this has come out of the blue for them, and they're kind of like, what the heck? And they don't know why they feel so good all the time, even though they have this heavy burden in their relationship. And I think the thing is, they're connecting with you, and you're giving them, your higher self is giving them this support. And they know that about you. They know that on a deep unconscious level, they know this. I don't think consciously, but unconsciously, they know that they get so much support from you. And even consciously, I think they know that after they're thinking about you, they just feel better. They just feel so much lighter. They'll be driving along and hear a song on the radio that reminds you of them, and suddenly it's like, my day's going way better now. But it's because they tapped into your energy. Let's pull some astro dice. So we got the 6th house, Virgo. We got Libra. I think that's Libra. And we got Venus. So yeah, there's so much love here. Libra and Venus are both, wait, what is that? Yeah, no, that's Libra. Okay. That's both about love. They're both ruled by Venus, and I feel like there is so much love in this connection, and you brought out that side to them, you know. This could also be someone with a Taurus placement, but it's Libra, Taurus, and also Virgo. So if those placements apply, then, you know, that's your sign from the universe. But it doesn't matter if they don't, because I also always get a message from these. I think with Virgo, this is how this person has usually lived their life. Virgo can be very like by the book. Things have to be correct. I mean, it rules over books and communication and stuff. And I think that that's how this person had been living their life before they met you. And this is why they ended up with their partner, is they were like, yeah, that's the right person. They're almost the kind of person to make like pros and cons lists. You know, I feel like they are very like logically minded, but then you've come in and blown that all away, and they feel so much deep love and connection from you. But I think that while you guys have that like deep spiritual love and it is real, I just don't like to see it when one party is kind of supporting the other and it's a little uneven, especially if there's a third party going on. It's like, come on, you gotta give someone the respect to publicly be with them and everything. And I think it's not that this person doesn't respect you, but just that you make everything better. You make everything easier, and their situation with their partner just isn't feeding them the same way. They're kind of like in an immature place compared to you, because you are the high priestess and they are not as evolved as you at all. I think most people aren't, but they're definitely not. And I think that you've like opened up this new world to them, you know. You've opened up this new way of living and seeing the world, and you've opened up like this kind of watery energy to them, and that's how they perceive you. You might have Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer in your chart, and you might, you know, be like just a watery creative type of person, but they see that about you, and it's like that's a whole realm they never really explored. I feel like they were very like by the book and doing things right and wanted the approval of like the public and of their parents, and so they've sought that out, and now they're realizing that it's not really fulfilling them the way they thought they would, and they constantly think about like reaching out to you, communicating with you, but then it's kind of blocked, and then a part of them is like, well, why would I? Because I'm getting so much from this connection anyway. All I have to do is think about her and I feel better. So, you know, what would it matter if we actually end up together sitting across from each other at a table on a date, when I can connect and feel better just by thinking about her? And they don't realize that they're tapping in and kind of stealing some of that energy. So, you know, I think there's this aspect of that this relationship is also going to take some time to figure itself out. It's not going to be solved right away. This is like a long-term situationship that is going to have to be worked out. It's not going to like resolve itself right away. So if you're looking for a resolution within the next like couple days, couple weeks, it's probably not going to happen. And it is going to take time, but they're just so enthralled with you. It's almost like they're in the honeymoon stage with you, even though, again, you guys aren't together. It's like, hello. I feel like shaking him and being like, dude, yes, you connect on the energetic realm, but you're not together any other way. And it's not to say or dismiss that connection or say like, so it doesn't matter, because it does. It's so important. And I sense that this is probably the most important thing in this person's life. It's like they're clinging onto it for dear life. But if you want to move this connection forward, you have to also make it a physical, person-to-person kind of in-person relationship. It can't just be connecting through the astral plane. I mean, it can, but I would want this person to make moves to actually come to me. That's just my personal feeling. You might be okay with it just staying in the kind of psychic realm. I feel like in a way this is all this person can give to you at this point, because they are so locked in with this other person. They are locked into this third party situation. I think that when this person that they're with first came around, it was like you weren't as much of a factor to them. I feel like for many of you, they didn't know you yet, or the relationship hadn't deepened or whatever, but they were so focused on doing things by the book and they didn't really know what love was. And so they were like, sure, I'm in love. Like, I like this person and they make sense for me to marry, and why not, Like, it was just very like a logical decision of like, sure, they tick all these boxes and it makes sense and we'd have two incomes kind of a thing, like not very romantic. And then I think you came in and blew that out of the water, and suddenly you are so watery and so creative and so emotional, and you brought them into this different stage of what it's like to have love and to connect with someone. And now they realize that love can exist on like a whole new plane, a whole new level, and be so much deeper. But I think that because of the connection with you, you keep them from having to confront the bad choices they've made. They feel overburdened in the relationship. They feel like they're just like juggling so much. And I think you're their like happy place that they go to kind of distract themselves. Like they might even look at your social media at the end of the day, and instead of being annoyed, like a lot of people look at someone's social media and they get pissed off, like, what is she doing with that guy? Or why is she wearing that? Oh my God, that's so low cut. Or like, why are they on vacation there? And like, what are they doing? Are they meeting new people? They look at your social media and they're like happy, because again, they're tuning into your energy and they just feel so blissed out. And it's like, I almost want to tell them like, hello, you need to have some urgency about this. I feel like in a way they think that you couldn't move on, or you're like linked to them forever, and you're always going to be theirs, which is very sweet. But it's also like, you need to step up to the game. I have other options. Maybe we won't have the same spiritual connection that we have, but I can move on too. Like, you're not the only one who can get married, and even to someone you don't, I mean, you're probably too smart and too wise to marry someone you don't really love, but you have other options. You could meet new people. Who knows? You could have multiple soulmates, And so I think that this person, it's almost like they're a little too complacent here than I like. Like, I would want them to recognize and be willing to deal with the relationship they're already in, or whatever is going on in their life that is making them feel burdened and stuff, and whatever bad decision they made. I feel like they are aware of that, and they do think about like, oh, why did I do that? But it's almost like it's too painful for them, and they'd rather just run to you, think of you, reminisce about you and the things you said and how your face looked, and how you looked when you were doing this, and how you would talk to them, and all these memories they have. They'd rather live in this delusional world of being connected to you, rather than address the situation they have going on in their life that they need to address. This is not just a tiny issue like someone forgot to put the dishes away and it's no big deal. This is someone who is like married to someone else, and it needs to be fixed before you guys can really be together, or with someone else. If they're not married, they're definitely with someone else, and it's like this person is not willing to engage that. If this person is single, because again, this is a group general reading, and I think for the vast majority this is a third party situation. If the person is single, I feel like they're just distracted and they're probably dating around, or they're something like that, but they're not wanting to come to the major relationship that you have in their life, that you are so important to them, and they are benefiting from that, and they're accepting that in one way. They're accepting the benefits of it, but they're not willing to put everything on the line, come to you and be like, these are my feelings and please be with me, and I'm vulnerable and this is it. So, I think this is something this person is having to learn through Spirit. Spirit is like not happy about that, and Spirit's saying like, come on, you got to figure this out. And that's one of the reasons why I think they're pushing me to tell you to put up some boundaries. Like, you don't have to tap into this person's energy every time they want to think about you. You can say like, no, dude, you're on your own tonight. I am not reminiscing with you back about our love relationship. You can ask Saint Michael to come in and to put defenses up so that he can't access you on the astral plane for the time being, and Saint Michael will do that. So there are things you can do so that they can't just tune into you whenever they want. It's kind of like you're a radio station. They're constantly tuning into your frequency, but you know how radio stations do those like funding drives every year? And they'll be like, we're raising money for this, or some radio stations do, and they'll have like a 24-hour like live broadcast or something to raise money, and this person isn't sending any money in. They're just tuning into the frequency and benefiting, and they're not actually putting themselves out there, because they are not the same energy as you. They are not the high priestess. And I'm not saying they have a bad energy, but you have such a highly developed, strong energy, and this is how they see you, as the sacred woman. Like, they know that you're so powerful, and they are, distorted masculine, to be honest. So it's like they're benefiting way more than you are. It's not like you're going to be tuning into a distorted masculine energy and being like, wow, I feel so much better. But they're doing that with you because of all the work you've done and how advanced you are and all your creativity and your divine psychic connections. So they're able to kind of mooch a little bit off you. And I just think salt baths and cleansing yourself and putting up those barriers, you might be surprised by how your life takes off and just benefits so much when you're able to shift your focus away a little bit and let this person, because this person is going to need some time to figure out, I think, a lot of the things going on. They are actively trying to change, I think, and they are actively growing, and they are on this path, but I just think that right now they're able to stay a little delusional because of how you continue to support them. And if you took that support away a little bit and didn't let them just tap into you remotely, you might be surprised that suddenly things would start shifting a lot faster, and you might hear a message a lot quicker, because they'll be like, wait a minute, what the heck? It's kind of like you had a key to a door and someone changed the locks, and then you're like, wait, what happened? And you're going to text the person and be like, why'd you change the locks? What's going on? And I feel like that might be something that happens for them, because they want access to you. They definitely want access to you, and right now they're just getting it from not having to put themselves on the line, not having to do the work and send the message and type out that text and type out the DM and press send. I could see them maybe typing it and then deleting it, typing it and deleting it, but they're not actually pressing send, and they're not actually putting themselves out there. So that's what we want from them, and I think that's what Spirit wants. They're holding you as like the bait, like, come on, you gotta grow, come on, like you do like to a dog, where you're like, come on, jump, 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 and you like hold it up in the air until they jump. That's kind of what Spirit's doing with you. You're like the milk bone treat. Like, they're waving around like, come on, you gotta grow, you gotta get out of this relationship, you gotta get some balls, to be honest, and you gotta get some strength and some bravery so that you're able to move forward. And you're the bait. You are the incentive for them, because they do like you so much and have so much respect and like enchantment with you. So I hope that was helpful, you guys. If it did apply, please drop it in the comments. I love hearing the specifics or the gossip of any situation. Love hearing all those details. So please drop it in the comments if it did resonate, and make sure to like and subscribe. I post these videos every few days. So if you want to see more, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you guys again in a few days. Bye.